Live from Exposition Park, NBC4 presents the fourth running of the Ford LA Street Race. This NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Series event is brought to you by Verizon. And now, here's your host for today's race, Fred Rogan.
Temperatures in the 80s on a picture postcard day in downtown LA. If the weather is warm, then the action we expect to see on the streets below in a few short moments should be sizzling. NASCAR has invaded Exposition Park for the fourth straight year. For the drivers and their teams today, it's a labor of love. A need for speed and a chance to capture the crown jewel and richest paying event of the Featherlight Southwest Series. The winner today moves one step closer to the show, NASCAR's Winston Cup Series. Thousands of fans have lined the one-mile course that circles the sports arena and runs alongside the Coliseum. They're ready for an exciting day of racing. We hope you are as well. Good afternoon and welcome to our live coverage of the LA Street Race, NASCAR's only race to be run through the streets of a major metropolitan area. Given the course is short and narrow, we do expect more than a share of bumping and grinding today. Let's meet our team in the field. First, we'll start with Jennifer Bjorklund with the fans. Jennifer?
Well, Fred, you know, this is a very short course, so the cars just come screaming around the corner every minute or so for the fans that are lined up out here. Take a look at all the people lined up. Here we have Joey. Now, tell me about your morning this morning. You had a really sort of exciting wake-up call from your dad, huh?
Yes, well, he called me and he asked me what did I wanted to do, and I said, I don't know. And then he's like, well, guess what? We're going to the LA Street Race, and I was so excited, and we're here.
You love this. You're going to watch this on Channel 4 now. You get to be here in person. What's the most exciting part about all this?
The stock cars, NASCAR cars.
That is coming right up. We also have a bunch of people here from Chino Hills Ford. Now, you guys are here rooting for one. Come on down here. Come on down here. Now, they're rooting for one specific driver, number 54. Tell us a little bit about number 54.
54, his name is Tim Woods, and I'm his mother, but I'm the only one that's able to call him Timmy. Timmy to Bob.
Nobody else call him Timmy. All right. All right. Well, good luck to your son, and good luck to all the drivers out there. We'll be in the stands throughout this whole race, and we'll be back with you live in a few minutes. Back to you, Fred.
All right, Jennifer, thanks, and we'll look forward to seeing Timmy race today. Up above the streets, Captain Bob Petty. Usually when we see Bob in pursuit of speeding cars, there are police there, but not today. Captain Bob, what's the view like from above?
Well, you know, Fred, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that most of the time when I'm up here and watching people go this fast in the Los Angeles streets, they've got at least 20 black and whites behind them. But today, all around that Coliseum, I can see lines of color of the NASCARs and, of course, the colors of the people in the grandstands waiting, just waiting to have this thing start up here. And we can know, the last year when I was here, we could actually hear the engines even 1,000 feet above the ground. So the excitement can get up here with the audio and with the visual sights and the colors here. And this short course, you know, I hate to say it, but the bumps and the grinds going around this short course are what we're going to be looking for here on the first turn, on that second turn, as the speed goes going around this course. We'll be here. We'll show it to you from the air. Fred?
Bob, thanks very much. Working with us in the pits today, our Channel 4 colleague, Patrick Healy. Pat, what's going on in the pits?
Well, Fred, a busy place already, and the race hasn't even started yet. No way you can overestimate the importance of the pits in a race like this. Pits, of course, in an unusual place, just like the race course. That's the sports arena itself over my shoulder. We're in the parking lot for the sports arena here. Expect to see one stop by all of the cars for fuel. While they're coming in for fuel, they'll also change tires, maybe both rights, maybe the rears, but probably not all four. They'd like to have fresh tires at the end. They won't need much fuel to add to be able to make this race. The other reason we're going to see a lot of cars in the pits today is, well, as Bob Petty was talking about, a bump and grind race course. There's going to be a lot of body damage. This course, tough on the brakes, on the transmission, on the bodywork. They're going to be coming in for impromptu repairs. And when they do, an added challenge because of the geometry of the pit area. My colleague Mike Storms has more on this geometry lesson.
Patrick, you mentioned they're going to be coming in here changing right side tires. That could create a little bit of confusion here in the pit area. These drivers generally drive oval tracks, and that means when they come into the pits, they're coming in this direction. The driver has the pit wall right here to his left. The crew jumps over. When they know they have to change right side tires, they scamper to the other side to change those tires. Today, however, they come in this way. The driver is away from pit wall. The right side is right next to the pit wall. I asked a couple of the crew chiefs yesterday what they plan to do. Were they going to warn their crew, remind them that when the car comes in, the right side is nearest them? And they said, absolutely. We want to avoid confusion at all costs here in this race. Like in real estate, it's location, 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 and we want to be up front most of the day. Fred?
All right, Mike, thanks very much. Thanks as well to Patrick Healy. Folks, we are getting ready for racing here at the LA Street Race. Stay with us. When we return, we'll hit the track.
The course for today's LA Street Race winds through Exposition Park. The park is home to City of Los Angeles Rose Garden, California Science Center, Museum of Natural History, California African American Museum, and the LA Memorial Coliseum. LA Street Race, sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Join in.
What happens when you question everything? 3 great wireless companies can become one even better wireless company. Simple, affordable, national. Bell Atlantic Mobile, AirTouch Cellular, and PrimeCo have become Verizon Wireless. Join in.
People say Italy has the world's best food, so I tagged along with a local chef who shared his secrets.
The rare truffle is a delicacy that can only be found by the sensitive snouts of the pig.
I, too, have a delicacy that requires a pig. It's called the Bacon Cheeseburger. It's stacked with 4 pieces of mouth-watering bacon on melting cheese covered with even more bacon bits, so there's bacon in every bite.
That sounds delicious and easier.
What about Wednesday? Yeah, I'd put a sitcom in that time slot. I think it would...
So anyway, your show's being cancelled. Cancelled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Hang on a second. Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
Monday morning on Today in L.A.
Teaching children about sex, what the experts say you should do when kids have questions.
Plus a high-tech solution for a life-threatening disease.
Monday morning, I'll help you ease your way back into that rush hour traffic.
And we'll cool you back down with basic weather on Today in L.A.
Tom Hanks takes on Spielberg. Next, Access Hollywood.
Back live at Exposition Park in downtown Los Angeles. The cars are moving onto the track. We're getting ready for the LA Street Race. You have met our team in the field. Now what about our team in the booth? From NASCAR's Motor Racing Network, Dan Hubbard and Mike Bagley. Dan, let's start with who we should look for and what we should expect today.
Fred, in my book, there are 3 drivers who should do pretty well here this afternoon. First, our pole sitter, Greg Pursley. He's already won a race this year. This is his 3rd career Bud pole here in the LA Street Race, so he understands street racing. Secondly, Jim Englebright, also on the front row. He's a great road racer. In fact, 3 weeks ago, he won on the road course of Sears Point. Watch for him to do well here this afternoon. And Fred, my personal favorite, Boris Said, brings with him a wealth of road racing experience. Victories at Le Mans, Sebring, and the 24 Hours of Daytona. He's not a Featherlight Southwest Series regular, but he could be a spoiler here this afternoon.
All right, those are the people we'll keep an eye on during the race. Mike, what unique challenges does this course present today?
Well, Dan, Fred, this is one of 2 road course races that these cars run. 3 weeks ago, they raced at the Sears Point Raceway in San Francisco. And at Sears Point, you've got plenty of grass, plenty of gravel to run off in case you get into trouble. But the problem here at this road course is there's none of that. All you have are tire barriers and concrete. So when those bumps and grinds begin, it's going to get slick, it's going to get tight, it's going to get tricky. There will be contact and problems. And we're going to have a lot of that here this afternoon.
All right, well, the cars are on the track. They're moving around, getting ready. Let's get to racing, gentlemen.
Fred, thank you.
We get out to it 36 cars, set to go 125 laps, $166,000 up for grabs this afternoon in Los Angeles. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineup for today's Ford LA Street Race. On the pole, Greg Pursley for the 3rd time in his career. Jim Englebright also on the front row. Row number 2, Eric Holmes and Craig Rodman. Row 3, Boris Said and Mark Reed. Row 4, Brandon Krause, M.K. Kanke. Row 5 has John Zaretsky and Steve Petty. Row 6, Rudy Rivak and Greg Pickett.
Starting in the 7th row, Kenny Shepard and R.K. Smith. Darrell Lamore and Tim Woods there in row 8 with Matt Crafton and Augie Vidovich Jr. starting in row 9. Row 10, Ross Thompson and Nick Joannides. Doug McCowan and Brandon Ash in row 11. Todd Souza and Troy Ermish in the 12th row.
Row 13, Chuck Billington and Fernando Sterling. Vic Rice and Rocky Nash starting from the 14th row. Carson Woods and Ed Kokenauer will leave from row 15. Row 16, Jeff Hill and Clint Curry. Row 17, Sean Woodside and Scott Lynch. And Bob Lyon and Frank Moronsky Jr. will roll off from row 18. This is a 1-mile track, 8 turns, 7 to the left, 1 to the right. And Michael, it would be safe to say this is a very tight and narrow street course.
And we're looking at one of the narrowest parts on this course. This is the shot there in turn 1, looking back up the front straightaway to the start-finish line. In qualifying yesterday, that car, Sean Woodside, had a problem in this corner, turn 1. He and about 7 other drivers lost control of their cars and slapped into the concrete and in the tire barriers. They had to do a lot of repairs overnight, but that is one of the trickier parts of this layout.
You saw a look there at Figueroa Boulevard, then they make the left-hand turn onto Coliseum Drive. You're approaching the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum there, then a left-hand turn 4, and they wind their way through Coliseum Drive, one of the fastest portions of the course, and it's heavy on the brakes into the left-hand turn 6. You see them scrubbing their tires back and forth. What are they trying to achieve there, Michael?
What they're trying to do is get bits of debris off their tires. They want the tires as clean as possible. Even though the track is clean, there still can be some pebbles that may have accumulated, some marbles there. They want to make sure that those tires are clean and green, and also to get some heat in those tires as well. Yeah. What you don't want to do is start on cold tires, whether you're on a road course or an oval. And on this road course, it's extremely slick. The oils in the surface have found their way, or actually the oils in the asphalt have found their way to the surface. And they want to try to get those tires as hot as possible to get the most maximum grip, especially when they head off into turn 1.
This is race number 10 on a 19-race schedule, and the points battle is a good one. Your points leader is Matt Crafton. He'll be driving the 46 car here this afternoon. He has a 110-point lead ahead of Doug McCown in the 34 car. Doug historically does pretty well on road courses, so he could close up the points battle this afternoon in Los Angeles. We have some in-car cameras there for you, 4 of them total this afternoon, as you get an overhead shot there from Bob Petty in News Chopper 4. Awaiting the start of the Ford LA Street Race.
You know, Dan, this Featherlight Southwest Series is a series that has bloomed many a new face in NASCAR. We've seen Ron Hornaday Jr., 2-time champion here in the Southwest Tour, move on to NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Racing, now to NASCAR Busch Series Racing, driving for Dale Earnhardt. We've also seen drivers like Kevin Harvick and Rick Corelli move up the ranks. The most recent driver, Kurt Busch, last year a champion in this series, has moved on to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And the rumor in the garage area and all around Charlotte, North Carolina, and even Daytona, where NASCAR is based, is that youngster at 21 could be moving up to drive in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series next year. And a lot of these drivers would love to add their name to that list.
They all want to follow the trail of Kurt Busch and Ron Hornaday and Rick Corelli. This is where they get their start in the Featherlight Southwest Series, a series that began back in 1986.
And they have waved off the start.
Yes, they have. We're going to go green this time around, but the pace truck, as you can see, is still on there.
Flag on the top of the starter stand, giving the indication 1 to go. They have found some debris out on the course, and right now the officials have gone to retrieve that. The lights are on top of the Ford F-150 pace truck, and when those lights are on, we continue under caution. When those lights are off, that is the indication to the crews and the teams that we are getting set to go green flag racing. The 1 to go indication, as it were, will be given on the back side of the course throughout the rest of the race. When you come to the initial green flag on a road course, the 1 to go indication, or 1 lap to green, is given at the start finish line. But for the remainder of the day, that indication will be given from turn 4 on the back side of the course.
This is the view from Greg Pursley's automobile, sitting on the pole for the 3rd time in his career. Every time we've raced at Los Angeles, Greg Pursley has put his car on the pole. These are 520 horsepower machines, a little shorter wheelbase than the Winston Cup cars, 2,900 pounds total in weight, and that includes the driver. They will reach speeds this afternoon in the neighborhood of 110 miles an hour. Not bad for Figueroa Boulevard.
We're going to see a lot of shifting up to the gearbox, down through the gearbox. These drivers are going to be working the mirror, working the steering wheel, working the throttle, working the brakes, the shifter, all at the same time. Plus the folks talking to them in their ears and trying to concentrate on the matter at hand. So these drivers are going to have a handful in the next 125 laps today.
Get a good look at the pace truck driver, Lori Jennings, who is a professional stunt car driver. She's been with the Featherlight Southwest Series for 2 years, and she is very capably taking that pace truck around this 1-mile track in the downtown streets of Los Angeles.
Field working through what's known as the paper clip part of this racetrack. The final set of corners, turn 7, the field coming now to turn 8, the left-hander to bring them back to start-finish.
We're going to try it one more time. Pace truck pulls way ahead. Greg Pursley slows down the field just a bit, lets them get lined up on the front stretch. Starter reviews them, has the green flag in his hand. Now he holds it high, lets it fly. We're underway in LA. Field pours into turn 1. Greg Pursley with the early lead. Jim Engelbright right there behind him in second. That's Eric Holmes in third, Morissette in fourth.
Morissette in the red car is the car to watch here off the start. A veteran road racer. He's won of the 24 Hours of Daytona. He's won at Le Mans. He's won every road course race there practically is to win. And he is one of the odds-on favorites to win this afternoon.
Into these tight, first the right-hand U-turn. This is turn 7. Pursley still in the top spot. Engelbright there in second. Holmes a close third. Top 10 machines, 15 machines strung out now, single file. Off turn 8. Up through the gearbox and hard on the throttle. Completing lap number 1, it'll show that Greg Pursley, your pole sitter, was the leader. He's starting to open up a little bit of a gap over Engelbright. And I'm surprised, Mike, that we did not have a pileup there at turn 1, which gave them so many problems yesterday in qualifying.
Turn 1's been the tricky corner so far this weekend, Dan, and everyone tiptoeing and getting in single file. That's important on the start, especially on a tight, narrow road course like this.
Looking out the back of the leader's car at Jim Engelbright. Winding their way through Coliseum Drive here. From 100 miles an hour down to about 45 right through there. This is also one of the most slippery parts of the track right here. They've got to be very careful not to break away the rear end. It's very slick, and easily you can spin that rear end.
Well, you're going at 110 miles an hour on some parts of the course, and there you go down to about 20 miles an hour. You're downshifting, and you're jamming on the brakes. And the instinct is to nail the throttle, get back in the gas. But when you do that, it spins the rear tires, and that's what makes the back end want to kick out. And that's not something you want to do here at this course.
Pursley maintaining the lead. We are working lap number 3. Jim Engelbright in second. There you see him there in the Jelly Belly car. Skirting the wall there, just missing it by inches. And off the corner and into the hairpins. Pursley looked like he was opening up the lead there in the early going, but now Engelbright is going to stay within striking distance. Pursley is 32 years old, out of Newhall, California. He has 2 wins in his Featherlight Southwest career. Here's the view from Engelbright's car. You see that dip there into turn 1. And you're trying to catch the leader with Engelbright.
Here's turn 2, a turn that turns you 2/3 back the other way. That's turn 3, a quick jog to the right. Now up the short straightaway, Jim Engelbright staying in contact with the race leader, but again, not forcing the issue this early on.
Top 2 cars on a bit of a breakaway from the rest of the field. Again, inside with Jim Engelbright.
Engelbright now coming into turn 5 and 6. This is this slippery part of the course. He's on the brakes, he's downshifting. Crank it to the right. Now squeeze back in the throttle for a brief moment. Back on the gas, downshifting. Going to turn it back to the left.
Oh,
on the gas and up to the gearbox.
Engelbright broke the rear end just a little bit there, broke loose. Some drivers peek it out in 3rd gear here at the top of that straightaway. Some just nip it in 4th.
And caution is out. Caution is on the speedway.
Our first caution of the afternoon. It comes out on lap 4. And there is debris on the track. NASCAR determines there is debris on the track, which is not surprising. Lots of close quarter racing mid-pack, and sometimes they can just shear off a body part. Sometimes an exhaust piece, or just a piece of rubber. So NASCAR will go out there and clean off this 1-mile track in the downtown streets of Los Angeles. Our first caution of the day.
It's a debris spotted in turn 1.
There you see the yellow.
NASCAR officials calling in and reporting that.
There it is. And it looks like some body work there.
Yeah.
So pace truck comes out. There you see Sean Woodside, the reigning Winston West champion. As you said, Mike, he had a bad crash yesterday in qualifying. Woodside did. They did a miracle job to get that car back together.
Front end totally bashed in. Came into turn 1, lost control, and slammed into the tire barriers.
Greg Pickett there in the 86 car, Trans Am champion. So we are under caution at lap 5. We will come back with more action from the Ford LA Street Race. Stay with us.
Carl's Jr. Without us, some guys would starve. New charbroiled sourdough ranch burger.
Hey, why aren't you guys at the beach? Afraid of getting burned? Then get to the Beach Boulevard of Cars during their Sun's Up, Prices Down summer sale.
Shop 20 dealers. More than 4,000 vehicles all in one location. Factory rebates, low interest rates, huge dealer discounts. At the Boulevard voted #1 3 years in a row. South of the 405 freeway on Beach Boulevard in Huntington Beach.
Doesn't it seem like you're never fully appreciated until you say I'm out of here? Like my ex-boyfriend. I tell him it's over, and he's...
Wait, I'll take you to the theater, recite poetry, buy you shoes.
And there are the phone companies. Say goodbye to them, and they're calling you promising the world. Fortunately, I'm no longer taken for granted. I've got GTE Unlimited service.
GTE Unlimited service offers a new way to look at phone service. Get everything from one place and the best deal from day one. So get started with local, long distance, and 2 calling features like caller ID and call waiting. All for one low flat rate, and receive a caller ID box free.
I didn't even know you could get local phone service and long distance from one company. With one rate, one bill, it's so much easier.
Call now. Get local, long distance, and 2 calling features for one low flat rate, and get a caller ID box free. GTE Unlimited service. We're only satisfied when you're satisfied.
I don't think so.
Back to the downtown streets of Los Angeles for the Ford LA Street Race. And you see there a broken race car. That is 27-year-old Clint Curry out of Fresno, California. Let's see how this one developed. There you see some course workers there. That is exactly where Clint made contact with the wall.
And he just looks like he cut turn 1 too quick. And that's where the debris came from that we saw before we went to break. Little piece of debris laying out there on the racetrack, and he hit that wall a ton, causing a lot of left-end front suspension damage. And that's one thing. This may be a temporary course, but this concrete can cause a whole lot of damage.
There you see the top 10. Greg Pursley still in the lead. Eric Holmes being shown in the 2nd spot. Jim Englebright 3rd. Craig Rodman 4th. Mark Reed rounding out the top 5. Rudy Rebeck giving a pretty good run here this afternoon. Let's go down to the pits to Patrick Healy.
Well, we've already had some bodywork repairs going on in the pits. We're in the pit of Carson Woods Jr. Carson Woods Sr., how bad was the damage to the car?
The damage was just to the right front quarter panel and the front fender, but we got it tore off and nothing's rubbing, so we're back in the race, and hopefully we'll move up pretty soon.
Of course, this is the kind of thing you just plan for on this course, don't you?
Oh, I know. Last year we were here and we broke an axle on the first lap, so hopefully this year we're going to do better.
All right, good luck to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Let's go back upstairs.
Carson Woods starting in the 30th spot, and I believe all this body work that's being referenced and the bumping and the grinding is because of the tightness of this road course. There's not a lot of room to race. There's not a lot of room to really make a lot of passes. You have to time those and be precise when you go to make the attempt, and we've already seen drivers start to clip the walls there.
There you see the view there from Jim Englebright's car. It's interesting, the teams had different approaches to this weekend's race. Those teams that had experience at racing here in the LA Street Race, they knew it was coming. Some of them did not bring, let's say, their most pristine car. They brought their beater car because they knew it was going to take a beating this weekend. Other teams that didn't have that much experience brought a beautiful brand new paint job. It kind of breaks your heart knowing what it's going to look like after about 125 laps. Still under caution here, working lap number 7. Greg Pursley has the lead, Jim Englebright in second, and it's interesting, those two pulled away from the rest of the field in the early going.
Yeah, they were able to get away from the field, and looking for moves from Boris Sed, running in the 5th spot, not able to get up there and make an early challenge. Boris having a lot of road course experience, and his race here before, not wanting to force the issue, and there's a lot of reasons for that. You don't want to force the issue early on. These drivers and teams only have one set of tires available to them. They have the set that's on the car, and then they have a set in the pits. And they can only change 2 under caution. They can change as many as 4 under green, but they can only change 1 per position. And it sounds confusing. It's because it really is. So that's why you're going to see a lot of maybe pit strategy throughout this race, and so on.
A 1-mile track. We're going up Figueroa Boulevard here, then the left-hand turn on the Coliseum Drive.
And you see the dip there in turn 2. That dip in turn 2 is the same in turn 1, but that dip would be the equivalent of, let's say you're leaving your local shopping center, and you're pulling down out of the shopping center onto the roadway. That's the dip, that joint that you get, going from the shopping center to the roadway. Those guys are taking that at about 70, 80 miles an hour. And the problem is that when they hit that dip, they don't know what the car is going to do on the other side of it. So once they plant that car, they're having faith and trust that that car is going to catch when they come off the corner. For 7 drivers yesterday, it didn't. They found tire barriers in qualifying.
There you see the green flag being displayed. That means they're going to go green this time around when they cross the stripe. Again, scrubbing off the tires here at the downtown streets of Los Angeles. So glad you could join us for NBC's 4's live exclusive coverage of the Ford LA Street Race. So far, it's been all Greg Pursley. We are in lap number 8 of a scheduled 125.
Field coming through turn 8 now. This is the final corner. Coming back up towards start-finish line. 35 miles an hour. There's the starter, Noel Dawson, holding them down, and the green is back in the air.
Pursley comes up through the gearbox and nails the throttle. Opens up a little bit of a lead, side by side for the 3rd spot. Boris Sed takes advantage of the inside of turn 1, and he will take over 3rd spot from Eric Holmes.
Boris now up to the field.
Look at Englebright. Pressure Pursley. Pursley trying to get some traction here through the slick downtown streets of Los Angeles. Watch that rear end slide. Englebright staying right there.
Listen to him work the gearbox. Back up to the gears now into turn 7.
And I think Englebright's feeling racy here. He wanted to make a pass there on that green flag restart. Pursley is not pulling away as he did in the opening laps. Boris Sed in 3rd. Eric Holmes is 4th. Single file off the corner. That's Craig Rodman in the 5th position. Mark Reed in 6th.
Englebright looks like he's a faster car than Pursley. But again, it's timing. You've got to time when you're going to make the pass.
You can hear the front valence scrape against the asphalt as they go through that dip in turn 2. These are 350 to 358 V8 motors. As we said before, they're kicking out in excess of 500 horsepower. Boris Sed sliding a little wide there in turn 6.
Dan, you mentioned horsepower. Winston Cup cars crank out in excess of 800 horsepower. These are 550. So the horsepower about 1/3 of what you can expect in a NASCAR Winston Cup Series car. And really, horsepower here is nothing. You have to get off the corner, but that's the bite of your tires.
So far, Pursley able to keep Englebright at bay. Englebright closes it up a little bit under braking, but it's so very tough to pass here on the LA street course.
Englebright's there. There's no question about it. It's timing the pass and getting around it. You see Pursley, he's got a little more what we call top-end speed. He may not be quick coming up to the gearbox, but once he gets to the top of it, he's there.
Jim Englebright, 39 years old, out of Fairfield, California. There he is. You're looking at his car right now. 6 career wins in the Featherlight Southwest Series. His last win just 3 weeks ago on the road course at Sears Point. And in fact, he passed Greg Pursley with only 1 lap left. So these two guys went round and round at Sears Point.
Jim Englebright is not a road course racer. He's known by trade as a short track racer, and he's dabbled a bit off and on in road courses. But by winning Sears Point 3 weeks ago, he's running well here today. And look at Pursley almost snatched the inside wall there.
Jim Englebright currently 16th in the points. Finished 11th in last year's Los Angeles race, and he is chasing down Pursley hard. There's Boris Said in third.
Boris is going to have the best seat in the house here once they get going door to door for the race lead.
A lot of the drivers feel this is one of the best places to make a pass through those switchbacks right there. Stick your nose underneath the other driver, bump him out of the way, and make the move. But for the moment, Greg Pursley is your man in the top spot. Jim Englebright is in second. Boris Said third. Eric Holmes is fourth, and Craig Robin round out the top 5. Stay with us. There's more to come from the Ford LA Street Race.
It's been called the ultimate family car, but it's actually a very sophisticated machine. It's a car that can sense how close your seat is to the steering wheel and tell the airbags how fast to inflate. The pedals adjust to the length of your legs, and in an emergency, the safety belts react to secure you. One day, all cars will be made like this. The Ford Taurus, a pretty safe investment.
If you love ribs, then get a load of these babies. Sizzler's barbecued baby back ribs. A whole pound of baby back ribs just dripping with tangy sauce. Or a half pound with barbecued chicken. Or barbecued shrimp. Or a juicy steak. Where can you get so much great barbecue from just $8.99? Sizzler. Dollar for dollar, the world's best steaks. Great barbecue, too.
If it crashes, dashes, or smashes, Fred will show it to you. Sports like you've never seen before. Catch Fred Rogan's Sunday Night Sports, Sunday at 11:15, only on NBC4. Monday at 5 on the Channel 4 News. You do it anyway, but what if you could make extra money by simply driving your car to work or wherever? We'll show you how some cars are earning their owners big bucks. The full story Monday at 5, only on the Channel 4 News.
NBC4 is proud to announce the return of Wave LA, Saturday, September 16th at UCLA. Spend an evening with singer-songwriter Eric Benet. And the incredible Dave Koz. Portion of the proceeds benefit the Magic Johnson Foundation. For tickets, call 213-480-3232.
Back to the downtown streets of Los Angeles. You see your top 10 there. Greg Pursley still the man in control. We are under a full course caution. We understand 2 cars disabled out on the track. The one there is the 65 car of Jeff Hill, 35 years old, out of Hanford, California. There you see him. He has suddenly lost power. And let's see if we can get an update. Let's go down to Mike Storms in the pits.
Well, guys, I can tell you one of the reasons Greg Pursley is doing so well. I just spoke with his crew chief, Bob Meehan, and he said that Greg is reporting he's just out there cruising right now, has absolutely no problems with the car whatsoever. It is running perfect. Of course, one of the reasons for that may be he's driving Kurt Busch's old car. Of course, Kurt Busch won this championship last year, is now in the Truck Series. So it's one of the reasons why he's out front doing so well right now.
When you've got good equipment, it's easy to run it. Well, I shouldn't say easy, but it sure helps to run up front.
Oh, yeah, sure. There's also been debris spotted in turn 7. No doubt one of the factors in this caution flag, as 2 cars have come to rest out on the course.
You got a quick look there at the Ed Kokenauer machine. He's also having mechanical problems.
Yeah, they will no doubt need assistance getting back to the garage area.
This is our second caution of the afternoon. Comes out on lap number 13. We're currently working lap number 15. There you see they're trying to get the Kokenauer machine on the hook. And let's get a report from Patrick Healy.
One other car that has problems is the Jeff Hill car out on the track. This is Chris Hill. You're talking to him on the radio, and it's a problem getting it restarted?
Yes, he's radioed in. It was getting hot there the last lap, and he said it shut off coming out of that corner. We're hoping to get it pushed in here and see if we can get the hood off and fix it and get back out. It's a long race.
What was he telling you before he had the engine problem about how the track is?
Track so far is pretty good. It's just so bunched up. They're trying to spread out right now. It's a long race.
Unfortunately, you're losing a lot of laps real fast right here. Is it worth it going back out and risking the equipment?
I think so. At this early into the race, it's worth going back out. Even though we're not in the points fight, I'd still like to get out and keep running if we can.
Okay, Chris Hill, we'll let you get back to work. So that's Jeff Hill we're worried about. They're trying to get that car going and back into the pits. Let's go back up to the booth.
The most important part of getting back out on the racetrack is all these drivers are locked up into a championship fight right now, and every point counts, and your points that you receive at the end of the race are based on your performance in the race. So let's say you don't finish a race and you lose 10 points. And the driver that was second to you in the championship standings finishes the race. He can gain ahead of you. So it's important to get out and finish every lap possible as high as you can to get as most points accumulated in this 19-race championship chase.
Dan and Mike, let me ask you a question. We're in our second caution here. What is it like for the drivers who are now on the course moving around? Is it frustration? Is it anxiety? Is this the kind of thing that can affect them as they continue down throughout the race?
Well, a lot of these guys have been in this position before, so in terms of frustration, maybe a little bit, but not much. What it does do is that it disturbs their rhythm. They set up a rhythm, particularly on a street course, where their braking points are, where their shift points are, and they really do get in a rhythm if they get consecutive green flags going like we had here prior to the drop of the yellow flag, and it does disrupt that rhythm, but they'll pick it up again in about a lap and a half.
So what do they do now? What are they thinking? What is going through their mind as they just continue around the track?
Could be pit strategy. When am I going to come in? When am I going to change tires? Do I have left tires? Do I have right side tires? What do I need? Matt Crafton there just looking like he's just laying back relaxing.
Matt Crafton
got his gloves off and he's just cruising.
That's what he's thinking. 24-year-old out of Tulare, California, and he is the series points leader.
Of course, some of these guys, they think about going back home and cutting the grass and taking a dip in the pool. And speaking of dips in the pool, we can use one today based on the heat here in Los Angeles.
Working at lap number 16. Under caution at the Ford LA Street Race. Let's get another report from Mike Storms.
You guys are talking about what's going on in the cockpit of the car right now. One thing that isn't going on in there is airflow. Under the caution like this, the air isn't flowing through the car as it does when they're up to full speed, so the heat is rising. And let me tell you, the drivers in there are riding right next to the exhaust system. Unlike in the Winston Cup cars where the exhaust comes out underneath the car, here it runs right next to the driver, so it's getting very hot in there. Some of these drivers will lose between 6 and 10 pounds today out here on this street course. I guess that gives new meaning to the term Featherlight Series.
Perhaps maybe I should go take a spin on a couple of laps in one of these machines.
Oh, no. You're just well-rounded, that's all. The drivers, you're talking about heat. There you see Matt Crafton once again. Excuse me, that's Jim Englebright. That is Englebright at the wheel. Look how close a lot of these drivers sit to the steering wheel. Some might think that's uncomfortable, but some of the drivers actually prefer that position right up on top of the wheel.
That is the most comfortable place for that steering wheel, and some drivers even have it closer to their bodies. Just think of yourself driving down the 405 and your arms are extended straight out under the steering wheel. Try doing that in some cases for up to 3 to 4 hours. Well, these drivers like to pull that steering wheel back and bend their elbows so they don't have their arms as extended and they don't get tired as much. So they like to have that steering wheel resting almost on their chest so that all they have to do is just turn their arms, and they save a lot of upper body strength for when they need it.
We were talking about the heat. The drivers call this track the Concrete Canyon. If the ambient temperature outside is about 90 degrees, the cement barriers to the left and the right of the driver actually hold the heat in. And they can say the track temperature is almost 125 degrees, and that means the temperature inside the cockpit complements that. It's very, very hot, and that's why they lose 8 to 10 pounds per race.
how much does fatigue play into this for the drivers when they're losing that weight?
A lot.
It's a big
huge
part.
Yes, it's a huge factor. You want to stay as spry as possible. The more fatigued you get, the more your mind wears out. And you have to stay totally focused and concentrate every single lap. If not, you're going to lose spots and basically lose the race.
We're going back to green in the Ford LA Street Race. Up through the gearbox once again. Pursley takes over the top spot. Engelbright right there in second, there nose to tail. From first back through sixth.
Jim Englebright's car, a tight restart. No one able to scamper away. Turn 2, now going into turn 3 right there. And now Pursley starts to get it wound up on the backside of the course.
Working lap number 18, and again we're under a full course caution. Now they will run back to the stripe at speed. They will not back off the throttle until they hit the start-finish line. There you see the Chuck Billington car, Steve Petty going through. Carson Woods behind him. One more turn before they hit the stripe. Under a full course caution here, you see Boris Said taking advantage as they told the drivers they will be scored in the positions they're in as they cross the stripe. Boris moves himself into the second spot. We'll see what NASCAR rules as we're under caution here on lap number 19. Greg Pursley is your top man. Boris Said in second. Eric Holmes in third. Craig Rodman fourth. And Jim Englebright rounds out your top 5. Stay with us. There's more to come from Los Angeles.
I want to build something fun for a change. I want a park full of amusing rides where you don't have to pay a fortune just to get in the gate.
But my lord, such things are not possible.
That's what my last engineer said.
It's Pharaoh's Lost Kingdom with the world's tallest enclosed water slide. The Elias Laser. Plus exciting new attractions like the heart-stopping screaming mummy roller coaster and the all-new Pharaoh Speedway. When it comes to fun, the Pharaoh rules.
Why am I a spokesman for Mako? Charlie Hustle knows Mako hustles. When you check out our great prices, you'll wonder how we do it. Our economical ambassador paint service is only $199. Mako is good, fast, and a great value. It's Mako for makeovers, the job well done by the #1 player in auto painting and bodywork. Call 1-888-MAKO-USA.
Whoa, look at the crowd. This sale is intense.
Well, where else would we hold it?
No, the savings, the selection.
And it's intense.
That's what I said.
No, you said intense.
Just plain making me 2 tenths.
Charlie, there's way more than 2 tenths down there. There's got to be at least 20.
It's the annual tent sale at the Cerritos Auto Square.
You sell more, so you save more. Cerritos Auto Square.
An exclusive interview with OJ about his new website, Next Extra.
Back to the downtown streets of Los Angeles. We are under caution on lap number 20. You see your top 10 there. Greg Pursley has led from the drop of the green flag. Let's take a look at why we are under caution.
John Zaretsky comes into turn 1, and this has been the trouble spot all weekend. He'll slide wide and into the tire barrier. And that's not good.
And he keeps going.
Keeps going, yes. And then is black flagged for smoking, as this is a non-smoking street course.
There's some debris there on the track. John Zaretsky, it looked like he had the rear end locked up there. There was white smoke coming off the left rear tire before he even made impact with the right tire barrier. Zaretsky, 28 years old, out of Marysville, Washington. Now, you may hear that siren in the background. I don't believe that's the siren on the emergency truck you see there on the track. They've got to be careful here. even at that slow caution speed, they've got to avoid that debris because you could cut. Look at this. We've got some more stuff here.
We've got bumpers and fenders and trash cans laying out here.
That may have fallen off one of the trucks. I'm not sure.
Or that could be leftovers from last night's Metallica concert.
Metallica giving a concert here last night outside the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. While we're under caution, let's check in with Patrick Healy down in the pits.
Well, let's give you an example of the little mechanical mayhem so far in this race. The Clint Curry car. May I direct your attention to the left front fender? That's the driver himself in the yellow, white, and black driving suit and the red hat. Clint is helping them repair right now damage to the right front suspension. They're having to reconnect the tie rod, which was broken. But you can see this is what it did to the fiberglass bodywork. They literally just ripped this right off. And right over here, if we can get behind the gas cans, this was the left front tire and wheel. You can see how badly mangled that was. So they got to get the suspension right. There's no way they can send the car back out on the track without it. So that was what Clint Curry and his crew are doing right now. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Patrick.
Patrick needs to get out of there. He's in a war zone.
Riding along in the Jelly Belly car with Jim Engelbright. Behind the leader, Greg Pursley. We are under caution on lap number 21. While we have a moment, let's meet a driver of the Featherlight Southwest Series. Here is Sean Woodside.
Sean Woodside out of Santa Clarita won last year's NASCAR Winston West Championship.
We won the championship. It doesn't get much better than this.
Motorsports are definitely in Sean's blood.
I grew up racing. Both my parents raced. Grew up in Saugus, California. There's a pretty famous little short track that a lot of short track racers came from, and started racing go-karts, and then moved on to late models, and up the NASCAR ladder I went.
Now Woodside trying to chop him off. Here comes Gusselman on the inside. Oh, and Gusselman's way loose. Here comes Woodside to the inside. He's going back to the lead.
Although the NASCAR future looks bright for Sean, he still holds down a Hollywood day job.
Carrying televisions around and running cable isn't that glamorous, but it's a good job. But kind of gives you that motivation during the day when you get in the car to try and win the race.
That's Sean Woodside. His 9-to-5 job is laying cable for television crews. We tried to get him to help us out here this afternoon, but no dice.
We had to settle for his father. His father working on our crew this afternoon.
Sean Woodside actually won the first race at Mesa Marin earlier in the year. He finished 10th at Sears Point 3 weeks ago. He is the reigning Winston West champion and could not get a Winston West ride for this year. Could not secure sponsorship, which is unusual for a champion, but it does happen.
He was one of the favorites to win this race, having to come all the way from the back. You see that chunky Beware on the back fender there. Chunky Beware is a product of, matter of fact, one of the guys working with us this weekend.
It's a clothing line.
Exactly, for those of us that may be a little portly in stature. So no doubt I'll be running out to get my Chucky Beware before I head back home.
Sean Woodside has won on a road course a Winston West race at Topeka Motorsports Park back in 1998. He also practices a great deal on go-karts with shifters. A lot of drivers do that. Let's go back to Mike Storms down in the pits.
I'm here with David Hand, and David is the crew chief for Boris Said. Boris is making a move to the front. Can he capture the front?
We're hoping he can. We're going to keep holding our position and taking advantage of the spots when we can. He's just driving a nice, smooth line right now, not abusing the car.
How's the car handling, and what's he saying about the track?
He's not really abusing it, so he hasn't taken it to the limit yet. The track's a little rough. The transitions from the asphalt to the concrete, he's got to get used to that. So he's getting more feel for that. He hasn't been down here in a couple years, so he's kind of enjoying himself and laying back.
Now the big question, can he take Pursley?
That remains to be seen.
I think he's saying that somewhat in jest. I think Dave has all the confidence in the world that his man can do it.
Greg Pursley not intimidated by Boris Said this weekend. Boris told us yesterday that, believe it or not, he's getting a little tired of road course racing. He wants to go oval racing.
He's tried it.
Yeah, he's tried it in NASCAR Winston Cup, NASCAR Busch Series, also tried it in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing. Well, now he wants to go full-time oval racing and is focusing his efforts on doing that next year. And Boris has basically won everything there is to win in road course racing. We mentioned earlier at Daytona, at Le Mans, all that. He wants to tackle the high banks and go NASCAR Winston Cup or Busch Racing, whatever will give him a full-time ride.
There again, you see your second place driver, Jim Engelbright. sitting in the office, scrubbing the tires there, keeping them clean for maximum grip once we go back to green flag racing. We're working lap number 24. Greg Pursley still your leader. Engelbright in second. Boris Said now in the third spot. Eric Holmes in fourth. And Craig Rodman rides in the fifth position. Rodman finishing second here last year.
Bob Petty in Chopper 4 has got the best seat in the house. Looking down at the field, coming up Figueroa Avenue, now making the left-hander, turn 2.
Talk about Boris Said. He'll be in the third position when we go back green flag racing. He had his problems at Sears Point 3 weeks ago with a tire. Went all the way to the back of the field in the early going, still managed to claw his way back up to the front and finish third in an absolutely amazing drive up there in Sonoma County.
He's been busy. He raced with the America Le Mans Series last week in Germany, raced his BMW there. He's here in the Featherlight Southwest Series race today. Next week he'll race at Sears Point Raceway near San Francisco, then goes to Watkins Glen International in upstate New York for testing of a Winston Cup car, then to Canada, then back to test with NASCAR Winston Cup's Jeremy Mayfield, I believe, at Homestead, Miami Speedway in Florida. So Boris Said racking up the frequent flyer miles here.
It's no wonder he wants to go back oval racing. He needs the break.
Field coming now through turns 7 and 8. As Greg Pickett brings his car to pit road. Troy Ermish, if you're a fan of his, he is behind the wall. He is out with an engine problem. We're coming to the green flag.
Mark Reed going by, M.K. Kanky, Rudy Revac. You see Ross Thompson there. Tim Woods giving it a good run here this afternoon. Kenny Shepard as well. Single file restart. Off turn 8. We're back underway in L.A. Can Boris Said pass Engelbright for second through the left-hand turn 1. It'll take a while now for the drivers to develop their rhythm once again. There you see Engelbright pressuring Pursley as Pursley misses that wall on the right-hand side by inches.
Back end starting to dance on Pursley's car.
Pit window should be around lap 32 to lap 42. Teams were going to attack it a little bit differently. That's when most of the teams wanted to come in and top it off with gas and change 2 tires.
They could go well beyond that, but that is the least most portion or the least lap that they can come in and go all the rest of the way without having to pit again.
Now Engelbright pressuring Pursley. Pursley's going to have to adopt a defensive position here to try to keep Engelbright behind him. And it looks like Pursley can stretch it out on the front stretch with the horsepower advantage, but under cornering, Engelbright able to close it up. Stay with us. There's more to come from the Ford LA Street Race.
Due to construction at Cerritos Ford, this sale will be intense. The savings are intense. The selection is intense. And with 0.9 on select models, the financing is intense. Save big on every Explorer, F-150, Expedition, and Mustang, every Lincoln and Mercury. Now through Sunday at Cerritos Ford, this sale will be intense.
Cerritos Ford is California.
Ford Center! In the Cerritos Auto Square.
Introducing AT&T Digital PocketNet service. Free unlimited access to the wireless internet that lets you trade stocks, stay up on sports,
Christine Love,
and even keep up with world news. It's technology that lets you divide and conquer. So while you may be just one person, you can be in more than one place at one time. Wireless from AT&T. Your world, close at hand.
The magic of the movies. It's inside every blockbuster. And every night, you can take a little of that magic home. With more of the hottest new releases guaranteed, nobody lights up your night like Blockbuster. Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home.
Hi, this is Rich Marotta for From Dodge, your #1 Dodge quad cab dealer.
Right now, get up to $2,000 in factory rebates on one of the largest selections in California. Over 300 new Ram trucks, over 100 new Dakotas, 75 new Caravans, 70 new Durangos, all with factory rebates up to $2,000. Don't miss the savings right now.
From Dodge, right off I-15 freeway at the 2nd Street exit in Norco.
So glad you could join us for NBC4's live exclusive coverage of the Ford LA Street Race. There you see the bird's eye view given to us by Bob Petty and News Chopper 4. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum there in the background. Your leader streaking by, crossing the stripe, completing lap number 28. Firstly, so far has been up to the challenge. Englebright not able to sneak inside on any of these turns. As we said before, Mike, it's just very, very difficult to pass here on the LA street course.
Englebright's advantage is going into the corner, braking and getting the car wound down. Pursley's advantage is coming off the corner and just before you simmer down to get into the corner. So it looks like the car's pretty evenly matched. One demerit against both of them here in the early going.
Two-car breakaway there. As Morris said, he's getting left behind in the third spot. There might be the slip that Englebright was looking for. Can he drop alongside Pursley?
He cuts to the inside. He's going to try. And the car's not going to stick the way he wanted to.
Cannot do it. Let's go down to the pits. And Patrick Healy.
We're with Troy Ermish, the 83 car Chevy Monte Carlo. You made the long drive down from Fremont in the Bay Area, and the motor just gave up the ghost?
Yeah, I think there's just a little too much heat out there today. Couldn't get any clean air. Engine hadn't missed select all weekend until we just got a little hot. I think we lost something in the lower end.
Of course, this track, it's not too easy on the brakes or transmission either. You had a little of those problems yesterday.
Yeah, we had some problems yesterday with the transmission. We just gave it our all, and my guys worked real hard all weekend to make sure we were here to be competitive, and unfortunately, it's just one of them deals.
So if the guys out on the track are listening in, where can you pass today?
Good luck passing anywhere. I guess in the switchbacks, and you can get under somebody in 4, and that's about it. It's a real tough passing out there.
Troy Ermish, best of luck in your next start. Drive safe home to Fremont tonight. You. That was Troy Ermish out of the ring, back upstairs.
So an early day for Troy Ermish.
Troy Ermish talking about the switchbacks. That is the paper clip reference that we used earlier. The final set of corners, turns 6, 7, and 8, where you basically have 90 or actually 180-degree corners in the final series of corners. Troy Ermish also one of the drivers that crashed in qualifying yesterday in the turn 1 tire barrier. So far, not had problems there except for one car getting in trouble early on. So far, clean and green at that part of the racetrack.
We're having a great two-car battle here between two good veterans of the Federal Southwest Series. Englebright trying to get it done the hard way to the outside.
He is slinging that car all over the place. This is for the lead. Coming into turn 8. He's going to try to slip underneath and can't get the bite. Pursley's got the better bite. His tires are gripping much better off the corner. And Englebright may be chewing his tires up. He's going to have to slack off and conserve. We still got less than 100 laps to go. We've got about 90-some laps left here in this race.
I think Englebright senses that Pursley is a bit vulnerable through those switchbacks we were talking about. He'll try him again next time around. This is the view out the front of the Jim Englebright machine. Englebright, 39 out of Fairfield, California, chasing down the leader through the downtown streets of Los Angeles, speeds well in excess of 100 miles an hour. Coming off Coliseum Drive into the left-hand turn 6 again. Pursley slides it just a bit wide. Let's see if Englebright makes the move again.
Well, with the car down, he's going to try to get underneath, and they almost make contact in turn 6. Now, actually, that was turn 7. Here comes turn 8. And Englebright's going to follow the tire tracks and lose a couple of car lengths. Now he's going to add a problem for the leader. Coming off the corner, there's the change for the lead at lap 31.
Now, Pursley either let him by or he missed a shift coming off that corner. Oh, Pursley really sliding that rear end out. He caught it before he looped it. And that's Scott Lynch, who was laying across the track there at turn 2. Hopefully everybody can get by. Eric Holmes ducks to the inside. So too does Craig Rodman. MK Kanky gets through.
Talk about a sitting duck.
And now, Lynch gets it back underway.
We see a piece of debris there, rolling back to the inside, but a close call there for the race leaders. And the new leader is Jim Englebright. A shot out of the back of his car.
And he's pulling away.
He's pulling away, and right now, Greg Pursley, I should say, falling back into the clutches of Boris said that would be the race for second.
So Engelbright played it patiently, and it looked like Pursley just lost traction. I mean, his tires, particularly his rear tires, may be shot. Let's go down to Mike Storms in the pits.
Well, you're talking about Greg Pursley and losing the lead. The reason he did, or at least one of the reasons he did, his ignition box went out. He had to switch over to the backup ignition box, and when he did, he lost power momentarily, and that allowed Engelbright to take the lead.
Thank you, Mike. There you see your leader at the wheel, the top car in today's Ford LA Street Race on lap number 33. We have Fernando Sterling making contact with the tire barrier. And I think some of the tires are just starting to lose traction here. This street course is so abrasive.
The more rubber you put down and the hotter the afternoon gets, the more oil comes to the surface. And what we're seeing is this track getting awfully slick. But right now, Jim Engelbright's the one to master it so far.
Greg Pursley is in the second spot. Boris Said still holds down the third position. Things are changing now on a lap-to-lap basis. Stay with us. There's more action to come from the Ford LA Street Race.
The California Science Center is a great place for families to come and learn something about the world around them. The best way to learn science is by doing it. You've just got to see it. LA Street Race, sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Join in.
We launched Verizon Wireless with one simple thought, that we could create a national wireless communications company that was better, with simple calling plans that are accessible to everyone. Parabolic Mobile, AirTouch Cellular, and PrimeCo have become Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Due to construction at Cerritos Ford, this sale will be intense. The savings are intense. The selection is intense. And with 0.9 on select models, the financing is intense. Save big on every Explorer, F-150, Expedition, and Mustang, every Lincoln and Mercury. Now through Sunday at Cerritos Ford, this sale will be intense.
Cerritos Ford is California.
Ford Center in the Cerritos Auto Square.
What about Wednesday? Yeah, I put a sitcom in that time slot. I think if we...
So anyway, your show's being cancelled.
Cancelled? I just bought a house. Okay.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
Dateline Sunday. A vibrant young woman and a mentally disturbed man. What happened next shocked an entire city.
He was at a ticking time bomb.
Now hear from the killer himself in a tape even the jury never saw.
I had no intention of murdering her.
And learn the court's final decision. Will there finally be justice for Kendra? Dateline tonight, 7, 6 Central.
Watch Paul, Colleen, Fritz, and Fred working for you weeknights at 11.
Back under caution in the Ford LA Street Race, and there you see the reason. Fernando Sterling in his second spin of the day. Fernando, originally out of Mexico City, Mexico, currently resides in Newport Beach. Has extensive road racing experience in Formula V, Formula Ford, and Formula Atlantic. Today, he has experience in spinning in downtown Los Angeles. Looks like he has stalled it there and cannot refire. Let's take a look here at Pursley chasing down Engelbright.
Oh, and a little shot in the caboose there.
Rubbin is racing, and they're doing it here in Los Angeles. There you see the car of Fernando Sterling.
That happens every single lap. We just don't see all of it. Obviously, too much of it happened there in turn 2.
While we have a moment, let's go out to Jennifer Bjorklund, who has another face in the crowd. Jennifer?
Well, there's a lot of faces in the crowd here today due to this lady over here. This is Greenlight.com. This is Lisa Gavelber, and you guys made it possible for a lot of kids to be here today. Tell us about this.
That's right. We sponsored the Boys and Girls Clubs of LA as well as the Big Brothers program with about 2,000 tickets to come to the race. We're Greenlight.com, and it's the best way to buy a car online, and we wanted just to expose that to a lot of people here in LA, and we're excited to do something for the kids.
Yeah, so the kids are out here having a great time. Tell me, what's your experience been like? I noticed while we were standing there, we all had black rubber on our faces. We're so close to the action.
It really has been an action-packed day, and as you can see, it's quite hectic and quite hard to hear.
It's noisy, and it's a lot of fun for the kids. Thanks, Lisa. It's a really nice thing Greenlight.com doing for all the kids here. 1,200 kids here, at least from Big Brothers and Boys and Girls Club. Thanks to those guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. We are under our fourth caution of the afternoon at the Ford LA Street Race. There you see Fernando Sterling get a little help there, so we can clear the racetrack and get back underway.
Jennifer's going to have a hard time hearing. Those folks were screaming before the start of the race, so they're still screaming.
Let's get a quick pit report from Mike Storms.
Craig Roudman is in, changing left side tires. Craig Roudman changing left side tires, topping off his gas can. Of course, Craig Roudman broke a foot in a Winston West race in April. The foot is recovered, waiting patiently, taking some time with that left front tire. There's a problem on the left front that they're trying to solve. Roudman refusing to take a drink of water.
So they're having their problems in the pits with Craig Roudman's left front. Here's a replay of what happened to Fernando Sterling.
Gets punched once. And this is coming into turn 2. And Fernando Sterling
there,
not making it out on the other side.
Tough break for Craig Roudman. We should mention that these pit crews don't get that many looks at pit stops throughout the season. In about 90% of the races that the Featherlight Southwest Series runs, they're good to go from the drop of the green flag. It's usually about 100 laps on a short track, oval, or a super speedway, and they really don't have to pit. But here on a street course, it's essential. There you see the car of Vic Rice. He has found the tire barrier. And I believe that's at the end of Coliseum Drive. No, it's through the switchbacks here.
That is here at turn 8, the final corner, making a lot of contact with the tire barrier. He's getting hooked up to the wrecker. So everything's starting to break loose at the same time.
There's Jeff Hill. Oh, we've had a problem. Is that in the pits?
Yes, that is on the pit lane.
Jeff Hill and Bob Lyon have collided in the pits. Well, let's get this straight. Let's get an update from the pit reporters first. There you see it. And we'll get an update from one of our pit reporters soon. Tough break for Bob Lyon. The most consecutive starts in the Featherlight Southwest Series. That's the record that Bob Lyon has. Let's go down to Patrick Healy.
Well, let's give you a quick update on the John Zaretsky car, which has been in the pits for several laps now, trying to repair the bodywork, the suspension damage. Just in the last few seconds, they had steam pouring out of the radiators, so now they got a cooling problem as well. So it looks like it's going to be a while before John Zaretsky gets back into the race. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, we'll get an update on this situation here. You saw them pushing away the Jeff Hill car, so he's no longer there. That's Clint Curry in the 85. Not sure if he was involved in this incident. It almost looks like there might have been a fire there, Mike.
Yeah, a lot of flame retardant material laying on the pit lane, and their crew is working on the right front, and a lot of times on a road course, the brakes are the first to get heated up. It's almost like racing on a short track race. You're constantly on the brakes, and what happens some of the times is the brakes get so hot, and some of the brake fluids get boiling in the right front that it could cause a spark or two, and not wanting to assume what happened, but definitely a problem there for Bob Lyon.
We want to clear up something. We do not have confirmation that there was a collision, but obviously there was a fire as they continue to work on the Bob Lyon machine. We're under caution on lap number 36. Jim Engelbright is your leader. Greg Pursley is second. Morissette is third. Stay with us. There's lots more to come on the Ford LA Street Race.
Sorry, how come I'm the only person you talk to?
Charlie, I talk to thousands every day.
No, you flash messages to them, massive markdowns, 25 giant dealers, but you actually speak to me.
Some people need extra attention.
For extra bonus savings on thousands of used vehicles, get into Cerritos Auto Square today. Clearly marked prices and a 5-day trial exchange.
Detergent alone ain't gonna get this out.
We sell more, so you save more. Cerritos Auto Square.
The hardest worker in baseball knows the hardest worker in auto painting and bodywork, Mako. When you check out our great prices, you'll wonder how we do it. Our economical ambassador paint service is only $199. Mako is good, fast, and a great value. It's Mako for makeovers, the job well done by the #1 player in auto painting and bodywork. Call 1-888-MAKO-USA.
Announcing AT&T Digital Pocket Net Service. Free unlimited access to the wireless internet so you can check movie listings, find restaurants, buy books, and get sports scores just by picking up the phone. And if you can do all this in the time it takes to cross the road, imagine what you can do with the rest of your life. Wireless from AT&T, your world close at hand.
What would happen if a Harley got together with a Ford? This, the Harley-Davidson F-150.
There's never been a more complete line of full-size trucks from Ford, America's truck leader. From the F-350 Super Duty to the new F-150 Super Crew.
Nice Harley. Nice crew.
Under caution at the Ford LA Street Race for the 4th time this afternoon. Jim Englebright is still your leader. There you see the look up Coliseum Drive. Forrest said passing through, so too is Eric Holmes. Glad you could join us on NBC4's exclusive live coverage of this event. We're located just outside the Los Angeles Coliseum. The course utilizes Coliseum Drive there, part of the parking lot of the LA Sports Arena. And Figueroa Boulevard. There's the view out of Mark Reed's automobile. Mark out of Bakersfield, California.
And that's Matt Crafton's view as he's trying to work his way up through the field. Right now posted in 10th spot. Matt trying to get back to the front, started in 17th. He's made some progress, completing 40 of the 125 laps. We've had 4 cautions so far. 1 lead change when Jim Englebright got around Greg Pursley to take the top spot. That was 8 laps ago at lap 32.
So while we're under the yellow, let's take a moment and meet another driver in the Featherlight Southwest Series. Here is Matt Crafton.
Matt Crafton is #1 on the NASCAR Southwest Touring Series, but to win the championship, there is one thing Matt must do.
You got to learn to conserve everything. Save your equipment to the end of the race.
Echoing the thoughts of the other drivers, Matt knows he's in for a workout today.
LA. It's tough. It's real tough. It's narrow. And a lot of places you can get yourself into trouble.
So, to be in shape to win, Matt's plan calls for him to stay in touch with whoever's leading.
My strategy is the first part of the race, let's just ride, let's stay in the top 10. Second half of the race, start picking cars off if you get a chance, but don't do anything stupid.
There you hear the thoughts of Matt Crafton. There he is sitting behind the wheel, and he is right on schedule. He said stay in the top 10 in the early part of the race. That's exactly where he is. He's in the 10th position. He is conserving his car. There you see him grabbing a quick drink.
Getting a little sip of a little beverage there.
It is hot today in Los Angeles. There's the overhead view of Matt Crafton's automobile. 3 career wins in the Featherlight Southwest Series, and Matt has won a race every year for the last 3 years.
He is the most popular driver in 1998. He won earlier this year at the Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California. And he wants to go to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Made that rather emphatic yesterday. He wants to go truck racing. And during the week, he's an average guy. Works as a mechanic for his dad's auto shop. And on weekends, he puts on the Nomex, climbs in the car, and goes racing.
Crafton got an interesting start to his racing career. Actually, at age 7, he was racing go-karts. But his dad, Danny Crafton, was the racer of the family in the Featherlight Southwest Series. His dad was sidelined in a racing accident back in 1996. There were 3 races remaining on the schedule, so they let Matt step in. He did such a great job that they said, son, you're going racing. As we said, he's won a race every year for the last 3 years, and he's the current series points leader. There's Jim Englebright riding in the second Now they've got him there in the front position, right behind the pace truck. We'll see, our leaderboard has something a little bit different. Let's sort this out.
And you see Jim Englebright sticking his hand out of the driver's side window of his machine. That is to get air. Because it's so hot here, you need to get air in. That was not to dry his nails.
There you see what's left of the Vic Rice machine. You're finding the tire barrier through the switchbacks. Under caution, lap number 42 out of a scheduled 125.
We get the indication from NASCAR that we will go back to green next time by, so we have about a lap and a half before we get back to the green flag.
Several cars made pit stops. Boris said did. He has fallen back to the 11th spot. But again, this fell right in the pit window that most of the teams wanted between lap 32 and lap 42. Many teams now may be good to go the distance. Let's go down to Patrick Healy.
Hi, before we get back to green, we're in the Vic Rice pit with owner Jesse Rhodes. And Spot right here in front of you, he talked to you on the radio. He doesn't think he did any damage?
We're not sure. He doesn't think so. I think it's basically collected in the tires. He got hit by another car, Lamore car. And we'd made a good run. We came from 27th up to 9th. And we were going to pit relatively soon on a regular pit stop. And, you know, it was on a yellow flag. So we're just going to bring it in, see what's happening. I'd like to thank our sponsor, HulkCanyon.com. They've done a good job. We ran well at Sears Point, Portland.
How'd you get by all those cars today?
Just, we got a good driver. He last week was at Nuremberg and finished on the podium in the American Le Mans Series.
Right on with Boris. So is he going to get in before the yellow, or you run out of time here?
We're just going to see what happens. You know, there's going to be a lot of attrition. It's early on in the race. We're going to patch it back together and see what place we can come out at the end.
Jesse Rhodes will let you get back to work. So they're waiting for Vic Rice. He should be coming into the pit any second now. Back upstairs.
A lot of damage on Vic Rice's machine. I don't think he hurt anything mechanically, but cosmetically, that car has been all used up.
Crew chief's going to be surprised. We're back under green here in the Ford LA Street Race. Jim Englebright takes him across. Greg Pursley is in the second spot. That is M.K. Kanke, who has moved up to the third position. Blasting up Figueroa Boulevard into the left hand, turn 2. Look at Englebright get loose there.
Under this last caution flag, Boris said he was running in third, came to pit road. And he's going to have to work his way back up to the field. However, the drivers that he will have to pass have not pitted yet, and they will need to get to the finish.
Getting back up to speed on the 1 mile track in the downtown streets of Los Angeles. Englebright a little bit wide there, flirting with that tire barrier. But he saved it.
Pursley coming up and almost giving Englebright a tap there on the back bumper.
Single file racing through this very narrow street course as Englebright comes off at turn 8.
Using up every inch of real estate out there.
Now Englebright has the advantage up the front stretch by a couple of car lengths. Into this fast left-hand turn 1. This is the view from Greg Pursley's car. As we do a little high-speed chasing of our own in Los Angeles.
Turn 3 there on the inside. That camera says it all. Inches away, if that much, from hitting the concrete there in turn 3.
Well, these were the same two drivers who did battle at Sears Point 3 weeks ago. In that particular race, Englebright was able to get past Pursley with just a little over a lap left. So you know Greg Pursley would love to return the favor.
Coming back through turn 8. Now it's Englebright who is getting the better run off the corner. Earlier in the race, it was Pursley who was pulling away from Englebright when Englebright was in second. Now Jim has the advantage in the 20 car.
M.K. Kanke being shown in third, Ross Thompson fourth, Mark Reed in the 5th spot, Kenny Shepard has moved up to 6th, Augie Vidovich in 7th, Matt Crafton in 8th, so he's already picked up 2 positions, Doug McCown in 9th, and Todd Sousa rounds out the top 10. Pursley pressuring, and they're going to come up on lap traffic here in just a second.
And they could not come up on it at a worse portion of the racetrack.
I believe that was the car of Carson Woods.
Carson coming to pit road.
All right, so Carson's off the track.
So that is one advantage there for the leaders, that they will not have to encounter any lap traffic. Now, and he slides it out. Greg Pursley really chewing chewing up the rear tires there, and he lost a whole lot of ground. Matter of fact, he lost about almost a second.
That portion of the track is the parking lot of the LA Sports Arena, and it is very, very slick.
It's what we talked about earlier. When you get in the gas too quickly or mash the gas too much, you spin the rear tires, and the back end wants to kick out. That's exactly what happened there for Greg Pursley. He's lost a lot of ground to make up. And when you spin those tires like that, you chew them up. Engelbright didn't spin his tires, so right there, he's not using as much. As the caution flags fly yet again, this time for the 5th time of the afternoon.
Comes out on lap number 46. There you see it. That's Frank Moronsky Jr. The field makes their way by to the left. Not sure what happened to Frank, but he is stalled out of the track.
Looks like he had some damage to the rear end of his machine, almost like the rear end housing was shoved over on the car. Could see the right rear there had some damage to it.
Frank Moronsky won a race last year in the Featherlight Southwest Series. He's going to have a tall order if he's going to win here this afternoon. So we're under caution for the 5th time in the afternoon at lap 47. Jim Engelbright is still your leader. There you see the top 5, Pursley in 2nd, M.K. Kankey 3rd. Stay with us, there's more to come from Los Angeles.
The Lone Reef Honda Superstore has the largest selection in the world.
It's big.
This is big.
Big.
Let me tell you, this is big.
It's big.
And low prices? How about $13,995 for your nicely equipped Accord sedan with AM/FM stereo cassette now through Sunday?
Super prices, super selection, the Lone Reef Honda Superstore.
In the Cerritos Auto Square in Huntington Beach and now in West Covina.
If it bends, if it jams, if it slips through your hands, if it sweats, better show it to you. If it slips or kicks, you don't want to miss, better show it to you. If the fans want more than the final score, if it squirts, if it runs, if it's what you're looking for, better show it to you. Encore.
The magic of the movies, it's inside every blockbuster. And every night, you can take a little of that magic home. With more of the hottest new releases guaranteed, nobody lights up your night like Blockbuster. Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home.
What about Wednesday? Yeah, I put a sitcom in that time slot. I think it was...
So anyway, your show's being cancelled.
Canceled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Who needs them? TiVo, TV your way.
Tom Hanks takes on Spielberg. Next, Access Hollywood.
Welcome back to the City of Angels. Many drivers having a devilish time trying to keep it off the wall here at the street course of Los Angeles. There you see your leaderboard. Jim Engelbright being shown in the top spot. Quickly, let's check in with Patrick Healy.
Brandon Krause from Castro Valley qualified very well, was running with the leaders all day until... Was it the ignition that did you in?
Yeah, we melted the wires together. One box went. We got 2 MSDs on the car. We lost a couple spots, got it refired on the second box, and they melted together again. But, I mean, we had a great car. We got up to 5th spot. You know, we got around Reed and Rodman, and we were running good. Had a couple fast guys coming up and got into revac a little bit. I lost the ignition at the same time me and Rudy got together.
Yeah, now let me ask you, those 2 passes, those tough guys, how did you get around on this track?
Well, we were training around, and we were basically being a courteous driver to driver. And
is that possible here?
Yeah, it was possible for 10, 15 laps, and then I just snuck by him. We had a faster car than the 04 car. I really want to thank my sponsors, my crew, SL Factory and Ederace Squeegees. My crew gave me a great car all weekend. They worked real hard, qualified 7th, got up to 5th, and ended the day on a mishap with the ignition.
Gotcha. Brandon Krause, good luck next time. Have a safe drive home. So Brandon Krause out of the race.
Courteous driving on a road course. Wow. We've not heard about that for a long time.
Back under green of the Ford LA Street Race. This is Pursley pressuring Jim Engelbright through Coliseum Drive. That yellow actually helped Pursley. Remember, he spun just a little bit and lost ground to the leader. The yellow flag bunched him up. Oh, and Pursley ducks into the pits.
Here comes some pit strategy right now. Greg Pursley comes to pit road. Also, Ross Thompson will bring his machine into the pit lane. And this is some of the unique pit strategy that we'll see. The advantage to this is when you pit under caution, you can only take 2 tires. If you pit under green, you can take 4. So this is the advantage to pitting under the green flag. They'll sacrifice track position, but right now they'll be able to take 4 tires as opposed to 2.
Let's go down to the pits. There you see him topping off the fuel. This is the Greg Pursley machine. He will be good to go the distance from here on fuel. And many of the teams said, even if we experience tire wear around lap number 90, 95, 100, we're going to stay out. Because it's so difficult to make a pass here, we don't want to give up track position.
You notice some of the troubles the crew is having. We're always used to seeing the poetry in motion on the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. 17-second pit stops, 18-second pit stops. These guys don't pit that much, so they're not used to trotting around with grace and finesse to finish the pit service.
That's right. While the lead is a huge one, Jim Engelbright getting around a lapped car there. Let's go out to Jennifer Bjorklund.
Hi there. You know, I've been reading some of these cars as they whiz by. I saw this one, Husbands.com. I thought, what is that? This could be something for me. And I found here the CEO of Husbands.com. Tell me, what is this all about?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
What is this Husbands.com car?
We started a website because women have a lot of websites out there, iVillageWomen.com. We decided to start a website that men could go to and kind of ask for directions in life without anybody knowing about it.
I get
Trying to, play on words. And it's for guys with responsibilities, mortgages, insurance, all that kind of stuff.
All right, so you're sponsoring number 43, right? Your driver, Ross Thompson. How's he doing?
He's running number 5 right now. He just took a pit stop. We're kind of worried about that. But he was started 19th, so we're feeling real good about number 5.
All right, and the best part about all of this, I got to tell you, is the T-shirt. Turn around for us, Brendan. Show us the T-shirt. The big Lazy Boy chair as the emblem for Husbands.com. Your remote control for life. Looks like a lot of fun. A lot of interesting cars whizzing by. Want to say thanks for the sponsorship there. Good luck to your guy. Back to you guys.
All
right, thank you, Jennifer.
No doubt all the ladies in Southern California will be lining up to look at the Dan Hubbard profile on Husbands.com. Or could that be the Fred Rogan profile as well?
Well, he said it was for men looking for directions. Right now, Pursley is looking for directions to the lead. He has got a long afternoon ahead of him. He just passed Clint Curry. And again, he was your leader in the early going. Now running by himself, trying to catch the lead back.
See the fluid squirting out of the back of the car? That is the overfill tank on these cars. That means basically the car is filled to the gills with gas. And the fluid coming out of the back, nothing major, just a little overflow, nothing to cause a problem out on the racetrack. Let's go to pit road and Patrick Healy.
We were in the pits with Vic Rice, your car owner Jesse Rhodes a few minutes ago was real optimistic. He thought you'd be able to get going again, but more damage than Jesse realized?
Well, it did. Actually, we broke a steering rack. What caused one of our problems was a loose brake caliper fitting, so we had 0 brakes for the last couple of laps.
Now, let me stop you there. How do you drive this course without brakes?
You learn in a hurry. You end up dirt tracking. You pitch the car sideways to scrub speed in the slow corners, then get back on the gas and pump like heck on the brake pedal to see what you've got.
So then how did the steering go out?
Well, we knew we had a full course caution, but unfortunately there's a rule that's unusual for road racing that they decided to race back to the yellow. Not race back to the yellow. It was a gentleman's agreement that you would hold your position, but somebody tried to go under me in one of the hairpins, and I had nowhere to go, and he just drilled me. And when he drilled me, it pushed me into the tires and broke the steering rack. We could have fixed the brakes. We were coming in on that lap under yellow, and we would not have gone down a lap. And we'd already moved, I think, into the top 10 from the
very poor qualifying position.
Yeah, you were moving up, but it's still awfully tough to get by cars out.
Well, it is, but it isn't. We had an excellent car. The Baypack Racing Hawk Canyon Chevy Monte Carlo was really outstanding. These guys worked really, really hard, got the car comfortable to how I like to drive a car, and we were just moving to the front.
Big Rice, back to road racing for you, but we'll see you here next year. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Let's
Tough
go back
break.
upstairs. That was Big Rice.
Thank you, Patrick. Tough break for Victor Rice. Here's the look on the front bumper. You see him slam the asphalt there through turn 2. Jim Englebright has a huge lead now over the second spot of Augie Vidovich.
This is a great view. Great view from the front bumper of Jim Englebright's car. Looking at it like this, it almost looks like he's driving like a man possessed. Here he goes into turn 6. Now watch the front end just dip down right there. He's on the brakes, he's downshifting, he's going to turn the car back around, on the gas, back up to the gearbox, and negotiate the other corner here, at the other end. Turn 7 and 8, as race leader Jimmy Englebright starts to tiptoe away from the field.
Englebright making his way off of turn 8. The Jelly Belly machine crossing the stripe, putting lap number 56 in the books. 125 lap race here this afternoon. Drivers competing for more than $166,000 in total prize money. You see right now, Englebright is unchallenged with a huge lead over Vidovich.
The cars behind him have come to pit road. 15.9 seconds is Jim Englebright's lead over Augie Vidovich. So Jim Englebright can afford to have a couple of bad corners. And we'll watch him work on the shifter right here. He goes down, he's going to turn. Now he straightens it out, and now he's going to come back up to the gearbox, then back down and turn, make turn number 8, and come back to start finish and come up through the gearbox hard on the throttle.
The competitors in the Fender Light Southwest Series say that the LA Street Race is one of the most physically demanding on the tour. Jim Englebright is your leader on lap number 57. Stay with us, there's more to come from the Ford LA Street Race.
The California African American Museum houses 3 galleries, a sculpture court, a library, and a theater. See living treasures of art and history, which highlight the African American contribution to world culture.
My kids would like me to have a station wagon. My dog would like me to have a station wagon. Remember that? Back then, a station wagon was a pretty big deal. However, everything has to grow up. Have you seen the Ford Excursion? Now this is a big deal. And it seats 9. Hey, guys. They're back.
Come with me. All the world over so easy to say. People everywhere just wanna be free.
AirTouch Cellular has become Verizon Wireless. Join in.
All the world over so easy to say. People everywhere just wanna be free.
AirTouch Cellular has become Verizon Wireless. Join in.
NBC4 is proud to announce the return of Wave LA, Saturday, September 16th at UCLA. Spend an evening with singer-songwriter Eric Benet and saxophonist Dave Cobbs. For tickets, phone 213-480-3232.
Well, it says here we can be anything we want if we just create a personal mantra.
So we can be Foster Farms chickens?
Yeah, now exhale, close your eyes, and repeat these words. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Foster Farms Fresh Chicken. Always natural, always fresh.
More donuts, more donuts, more donuts, more donuts, more donuts.
Monday at 4 on the Channel 4 News. It wouldn't be summer without them. Picnics. But before you pack your basket, we'll show you what you need to know to have a great picnic without making you or your loved one sick. Watch Perfect Picnics, Monday at 4 on the Channel 4 News.
Back to the Ford LA Street Race. You see the leaderboard there. Doug McCown has moved into the 4th spot. Todd Sousa rounds out the top 5. That's the bird's eye view from high above. Bob Petty giving us those shots. News Chopper 4. Now we're inside the cockpit with Jim Englebright as he makes the move on Clint Curry.
Sweeping wide around in turn 3. Having to hesitate to get back on the gas there for a moment. And as he starts to close in on lap traffic, his lead now is still a big one. Waiting for Augie Vidovich to come back to the start-finish line, and I believe Augie's going to come in for service now. Now Jim Englebright's lead is 25 seconds. That is enormous, considering that the Bud Pole winning speed was 51 seconds. So you've got about a half a track length lead over the rest of the field. You're basically on a Sunday drive.
Let's check in quickly with Patrick Healy, who has caught up with Sean Woodside.
This obviously is not where Sean Woodside wants to be at this stage of the race. There's your car back there with the rear end jacked up. What all is the matter with it?
Well, the Chunky B Pontiac with REF and all the guys, they put a good car together, but rear end problem, broken axle, and stripped the splines out. So I think we're done here for a while. They're going to try and maybe find another rear end to put in it. But got to thank everybody from NBC and NASCAR and Streets of LA for putting this deal together. And I thank Team Walker Motorsports. And unfortunately, I've been talking to you a lot lately. Hey, maybe you're bad luck for me.
It's like the Sports Illustrated cover, Kiss of Death. But in all seriousness, you're running for points. So you want to get back out on that track to get the points you can get.
Yeah, we're trying to find one more axle, even if it's got one-wheel drive, just to do a couple more laps and get a couple more points, because every point's valuable in this series. And we'll go to Irwindale next, get back on an oval, a different car, and hopefully everything will be a little better than this weekend.
Well, if it's any consolation, there's a full course yellow again, which means you're not going to lose as many laps. But from a driver's perspective, for a guy who's used to running for the lead, it's got to be awfully frustrated to go into the back of the pack.
Yeah, it makes you respect those days that you have that are good, because this weekend was about the roughest I've had in a long time. But a lot of great people helped me out, and you know, TV helps everybody here, and NASCAR for putting on a great deal, and all the people from LA for coming in. Don't forget Chunky, he's on the back of the car.
Sean Woodside, get back to fixing that car. We'll see you at the next race. Let's go back upstairs.
Let's check in with Mike Storms.
Jim Englebright, the leader, his pit crew getting ready. Gil Melton has the team ready to change tires. They're going to do a 2-tire change, but unlike everybody else who's been making stops, either changing lefts or changing rights, Gil just told me we're going to change the 2 rear tires. So he's waiting on Jim Englebright to make his way around as the yellow flag flies over the entire course. Of course, they will be topping off the fuel just to make sure that he can complete the race. These cars cannot go the entire distance on 1 can of fuel. So the fuel man's standing by here with an 11-gallon can ready to pump it into the car. Everybody's getting ready, just waiting on Jim Englebright to make his way around. If you guys want to go ahead and take it back, and when he comes in, we can show you the action.
We are under caution, our 6th of the afternoon. And Mike, some may feel it's unusual to change the 2 rear tires rather than changing the 2 tires to one side of the car or the other.
If you watch NASCAR Winston Cup, NASCAR Busch, or NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing, normally you change left sides or right side tires. Well, in this type of racing, even with the Featherlight Modified Series that predominantly runs in the Northeast, they will change either right or front tires, and that's because they've got so much torque in these rear ends, and you're spinning the rear tires that you want as much traction as possible. Well, given the slickness of this racetrack, they're really cranking the rear ends hard. Sean Woodside just dropped a rear end. I mean, and we've had other transmission problems and other rear end problems. You want that rear end to grip as much as possible. You don't want it to break, but you want the tires to be as adhesive as possible. Well, Jim Englebright feels it's to his advantage to change the rear tires to get better bite or better traction off the corner. So that's the route that they're going to go, and we've seen this pit strategy before with drivers left, drivers right, or taking left, taking right side tires, and now Jim Englebright's coming down pit road as he's in for service. This will be at lap 63 of 125.
Pit road speed, 25 miles an hour as Jim Englebright looks for his pit stall, has to hit his mark. It's very important. This is your leader now coming into the pits. Let's cover this stop down to Mike Storms.
He's in the second pit, Dan, that you had mentioned. He has to come the full length at 25 miles an hour. The crew jumps over the wall. You can see there on the front tire, the brake is on fire. The brake pad is on fire. One of the crewmen throws a bottle of water on it, trying to put out the fire, just blazing from that front right-hand side. Englebright has to shut it down. They shut the engine down. NASCAR official at the front calling for some fire help, calling for the firemen. They jump across, spray the tire, trying to put out the fire. It's the brake pads just overheating, and that was a problem that we talked about yesterday to a lot of these drivers, a lot of them using a softer brake pad. They feel that they can get better feeling when they do that. However, it heats up quicker. And a guy who's out in front running down pit road here to try to make a fast pit stop to get back out on the track. He comes down, waits for the last second to apply the brakes, and then they just ignite. There you see him in the car waiting patiently. They rip the, oh, what a bad break here. Jim Englebright has taken the helmet off. Crew very disappointed. The back end is still jacked up, and they're still working on the fire in the engine now. Oh, how disappointing this has to be to Jim Englebright. Jim Englebright climbing from the car, absolutely disappointed. Look at the disappointment on his face. Let's see if we can get a word with him. Jim, what happened? Jim, what happened out there?
Well, you know, I really don't know. Everything was going fine, and then my wife's my spotter. She said we had a fire on the right front. What probably happened was got a piece of rubber or something on a rotor or close to it, and then it catches on fire, and then it started melting everything down. And as I was pulling it, the flames kept getting bigger, and I lost my brake pedal. So, you know, the Jelly Belly Wonder Bar car was doing just great. We had, as you've seen, everybody covered today. But you know what? It's just not our day, but we always have another one.
You must be really disappointed, though.
Yeah, I am. I gave this thing away last year, too, with Light 1 to go. So it's a little disappointing. But on the other hand, you know, thank God I'm okay. You know, everybody on my crew's fine. So, you know, it just wasn't our day. So we'll have another one.
Well, that's a marvelous way to look at it, and he says it with a smile. Thank goodness everybody's okay except the car. Wow.
That is a tough break.
That's big.
For Jim Englebright. And the complexion of this race is changing. Eric Holmes is being shown in the top spot with Tim Woods in second. Craig Rotman third, Darrell Lamore in fourth. We are under caution on lap number 65. Stay with us. There's more to come from the Ford LA Street Race on NBC4.
Yeah, I'd put a sitcom in that time slot. I think if we...
So anyway, your show's been cancelled.
Cancelled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
What if you could be far away and still be close to everyone and everything that's important to you? If you could talk to anyone in your family the instant you thought about them. If you could have the information you need come to you when you wanted it. And you had the power to make all the pieces of your life come together more than you ever imagined. Welcome to the future. Wireless from AT&T. Your world, close at hand.
They're the shows you love on Rosie's Summer of Love. Next time, Madonna! Has she reinvented herself again? What's wrong with me? I've become you. Scary, isn't it? If you missed it before, it's your last chance to see this great Rosie. Next time.
Watch Rosie, NBC4, Monday.
Monday at 5 on the Channel 4 News. You do it anyway, but what if you could make extra money by simply driving your car to work or wherever? We'll show you how some cars are earning their owners big bucks. The full story Monday at 5, only on the Channel 4 News.
People say Italy has the world's best food, so I tagged along with a local chef who shared his secrets.
The rare truffle is a delicacy that can only be found by the sensitive snout of the pig.
I, too, have a delicacy that requires a pig. It's called the Bacon Cheeseburger. It's stacked with 4 pieces of mouth-watering bacon on melting cheese covered with even more bacon bits, so there's bacon in every bite.
That sounds delicious. And it's easier.
Back to the action here, the Ford LA Street Race. There is your leader in car number 63. Eric Holmes has a 3.2-second lead over Tim Woods. Craig Rodman is in the third spot. This happened just seconds ago out at turn 7. A fuel leak out of one of the race cars.
Looks like the tank got too full, and sparks from the exhaust set that gas off. And that has put us back under the caution flag. Hadn't even completed a lap yet. But the fire put itself out.
So
scary moment there.
We have had fires. We have had high-speed chases. It's almost just another day in the neighborhood in Los Angeles.
I was going to say, that sounds like the 405 at rush hour.
While we have a moment, and while we are under the yellow, let's learn more about the Fenolite Southwest Series. Here's Tour Director Danny Grill.
Fenolite Southwest Series is one of 13 NASCAR touring divisions. The main difference between the Winston Cup car and the Fenolite Southwest Series car is that the bodies on these are fiberglass. The wheelbase is 5 inches shorter, 358 cubic inch V8 engine, right about 525 horsepower. Your Winston Cup stock car, they're probably about 750 horsepower. The Southwest Series car is a little bit lighter. They are a little more racing. They tend to turn a little quicker. They get a little more action in them. This course here really is good for our cars because it's mostly all left-hand turns. So it's not really a lot of head scratching. It's just trying to keep the body panels on and keep them off the walls.
Easy to say, but tough to do, particularly on the tight track of the Los Angeles street course. There you see your top 10. I don't think Englebright is still in the lead, given that he had that fire in the pits. We have NASCAR listing Eric Holmes in the top spot. There he is in the Taco Bell machine. Craig Rodman having a good run here this afternoon. He's in the 2 car there, that black car you see. He finished second here last year. And of course, he'd like to improve that position by 1 here this afternoon.
How about Tim Woods? Tim Woods running in 3rd right now. Grandfather is a Hall of Fame drag racer, the only African-American driver in the field today. Runs late models at Irwindale Speedway, and his first ever NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Series race. In pursuit of race leader Eric Holmes now. Getting the indication that we'll go back to green when the field comes back to the start-finish line this time. Lights off atop the Ford F-150 safety truck, driven by
Lori Jennings, who is a professional stunt car driver.
Has done work, no doubt, with Charlie's Angels.
She was also a sprint car driver. Before we go back to green, quickly, let's go down to Mike Storms.
Craig Roudman, who is now running in 2nd place, it's a tenuous 2nd place for him. He has an intermittent brake problem. They said they get about 5 good laps of braking, then something is causing an air pocket to develop. They have to come in and bleed the brakes real quickly. So he's hoping that the intermittent problem just doesn't occur between now and the end of the race, but his crew has their fingers crossed, just saying, please, please. But in the car, that driver has to be wondering, when is it going to happen next?
Unfortunately, on a street race, you need both pedals, and one of them is the brakes. The brake pedal. And Craig Rodman is going to be hanging on to a Bronco here in Los Angeles. Back under green flag racing. Eric Holmes will be trying to hold off perhaps an ailing Craig Rodman in that Monte Carlo. Now sometimes, Mike, they can pump that brake pedal and keep the pressure up.
Sometimes.
And sometimes the pedal goes right to the floor.
There's no brake pumping going on right now.
So here's Rodman at better than 110 miles an hour with questionable brakes, trying to wrestle away the lead from Eric Holmes.
He's on the back bumper here through this final set of corners to see if he can mount the charge. Here they come now through turn 7, a 180-degree right-hand turn. He tries to poke the nose up underneath, gets very close, and we are under caution again. Caution will fly this time for the 7th time, as we almost had a change for the lead.
Charging hard back to the stripe. There's the Augie Vinovich car. He found the wall. Looks like the outside of turn 1. He's back underway.
And leaving a whole lot of fluid. You see the fluid dripping out from the rear end of his machine as he drives away, giving the pace truck a little wave. The front end of that machine torn up, and that's the end result of hitting the tire barriers in turn 1.
Augie Vinovich out of Lakeside, California, has a win this year at Tucson Speedway. He's currently 3rd in the points, so this will hurt his point chase, as Vinovich will live his way back to the pits.
A construction worker by trade will have a lot of reconstructive surgery to do to the front end of that car.
Finished 14th in last year's Los Angeles race. Look at the damage there.
I think that one will need an appraisal.
This is his first full year in the Featherlight Southwest Series. Hear the metal scraping against the asphalt, Coliseum Drive.
And it's almost probably all he can do to see out from over the boat hood.
While we're under the yellow, let's learn a little bit more about Augie Vidovich.
Just like any other teenager, Augie Vidovich knows how tough things can be, holding down a job while going to high school.
It was pretty tough. I had to deal with high school and race at the same time. I just went straight home and I'd do my homework and I'd go to the shop, and by the time I got to the shop, it was pretty late, so I had to work later.
He may be young, but Augie already knows what his next rung on the NASCAR ladder may be.
I'd like to run truck races. I'll take push. It don't matter.
Right now, he'd take a fixed race car in the Featherlight Southwest Series. There's an update for you. The top 10. As you said, Mike Tim Woods giving it a great run here today. Currently in the 3rd spot, is not by any stretch of the imagination a Featherlight Southwest regular.
Neither is our pole sitter today, Greg Pursley, running 7th. And Boris Said, starting in the top 5 today, has not managed to work his way back up through the field. But right now, Eric Holmes is the man in command.
So while the cleanup crews pick up the mess there at turn 7 and elsewhere on the track, we are going to take a short break. We are working lap number 71 in the Ford LA Street Race. Currently, Eric Holmes is the man in charge. Stay with us. There's more to come from Los Angeles.
LA Street Race, sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Join in.
All the world over so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free.
AirTouch Cellular has become Verizon Wireless. Join in.
All the world over so easy to see. People everywhere just wanna be free.
AirTouch Cellular has become Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Dateline Sunday, a vibrant young woman and a mentally disturbed man. What happened next shocked an entire city.
He was a ticking time bomb.
Now hear from the killer himself in a tape even the jury never saw. I had no intention of hurting her. And learn the court's final decision. Will there finally be justice for Kendra? Dateline tonight, 7, 6 Central.
Remember, we knock over the cans, she looks, we jump in her cart, and tell her we're Fresh Foster Farms chicken.
Right.
Pull! You looking for some Foster Farms chicken?
You're not Foster Farms chickens.
Well,
They're fresh, California grown. And besides, isn't that freezer burn?
Wait on aisle 3.
Oh, no, that's a tattoo.
Foster Farms fresh chicken. Always natural, always fresh.
Well, this isn't going to make us any fresher.
They called him a visionary, a great leader, a hero. I was fortunate enough to call him friend as well. Hello, I'm Martin Sheen, inviting you to witness Caesar's vision and work through the eyes of photographers and artists who stood beside him through struggles and triumphs.
The Latino Museum proudly presents an American leader, Cesar E. Chavez, March 29 through August 18. Call for information.
Embrace the legacy. Thank you.
Fred Rogan's Sunday Night Sports, tonight at 11:15 on NBC4.
An exclusive interview with OJ about his new website, Next Extra.
Welcome back to NBC4's live exclusive coverage of the Ford LA Street Race. There you see the shot of the Los Angeles Coliseum as the cars make their way around this 1-mile course. So happy you could join us. I'm Dan Hubbard along with Mike Bagley in the booth. Mike Storms and Patrick Healy are watching things for us in the pits. We have Bob Petty high above in News Chopper 4, and Jennifer Bjorklund is working the crowd for us. Quickly, let's go up to Bob Petty.
Watching these turns coming around this, the bumping and grinding sure is proving true this evening when we see chunks of those cars coming off of those turns and laying off the track. About 7 or 8 times now we've been under that caution flag with this coming. I think we've got, about lap 65, 66. We're doing great out here today. It's exciting watching him from up here. A lot cooler up here than you guys are down there watching that heat on those fires and the brakes and those engines out there, hey, we're having a great time. I hope you folks are down there.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Now, how come he gets it cool up there and we get it hot down here? Jennifer Bjorklund has another face in the crowd. Jennifer?
Yeah, it is so hot out here, but Tim's mom still down here. Tim Woods, he's I'm guessing in third place now. That's the last we heard. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He is in third place at the moment, and hopefully we will end up in first place.
And you got quite a cheering section out here. Who do you got out here?
We have Tim's godmother, Anita. We have Tim's wife, Angela. Tim's daughter, Dominique. We have all of Tim's fans and friends from the neighborhood. Yay!
You guys have been a very vocal cheering section for Tim Woods, and he has been pulling ahead as this race progresses, and I guess you guys have been screaming every time he goes by. Is he waving back?
He has let us know that we're here, and we always will be here for him, and I think that's one of his motivating factors is make sure that family and friends are here to support him, and we will always be here to support Timmy.
Are you a little bit worried being his mom? He's out there driving these fast cars. Do you get a little bit scared when you see him screaming around the corners?
Absolutely. As a mom, you can't help but to be frightened, but I have faith in the Lord, and I pray that he's safe, and that's all that's going to happen. He's going to be safe. That's it. We've made that declaration.
All right, I've been calling you Tim Woods' mom. What's your name?
My name is Cynthia.
All right, Cynthia, good luck to you. Good luck to Tim. And back to you guys.
Mom Woods whipping the crowd into a frenzy there. Those and the folks from Chino Hills Ford.
Well, who could blame
doubling
her?
as the Tim Woods fan club today.
Who could blame her? This would be huge if Tim Woods were even to have a top 5 finish here this afternoon. He is not a Featherlight Southwest Series regular. Ran in the spec trucks here in '98, ran as high as 4th. But he has given it a great run here this afternoon. Started in go-kart racing at age 13. There you see the Tim Woods automobile.
Ron Hornaday and Kevin Hardick, now drivers of the NASCAR Busch Series, took him under their wing when they were here in the series back in '92 and '93. And right now, Tim Woods trying to score his first ever wins in his first ever race. Look at the pavement there, Dan.
It's getting chewed up pretty good there.
Yeah, these cars are really taking a toll on the parking lot here.
I don't think people realize what horsepower can do to pavement, even on a cured racetrack. When they lay that power down to the pavement, they're almost scooping it up, digging it out. And that could be a problem later on in the race.
You see the inside groove there where the cars are going.
Right there.
Cars are just tearing the pavement up. A lot of horsepower, almost 550 under each of these cars. And because it's so hot, the track temperature approaching 130 degrees this afternoon. All of it taking its toll on the asphalt.
We go back to green flag racing on lap number 74, and Eric Holmes will feel the pressure from Craig Rodman. And remember, Rodman may be experiencing some brake pressure problems. We'll see how it shakes out. Tim Woods there in the 3rd spot.
Tim Woods waiting to see what's going to happen as Rodman tries for the lead, gets a fender up there and can't make the pass.
He's not going to make the pass there, but he gets started. Some drivers say it takes as long as 3 laps to complete the pass. Setting him up, looking for where your opponent is vulnerable, and then completing the pass.
Greg Rodman right now, the vulture on the low branch, getting ready to pounce on Eric Holmes. Here they come into turn 7. That is Eric Holmes, your leader. Greg Rodman trying to get the inside lane opened up, and it will not happen this time. Here they come back into turn 8 now, the 180-degree left-hand corner. Not trying to spin the wheels, and for now, Holmes will hang on to the lead.
Eric Holmes, 26 years old, out of Escalon, California. He's finished 2nd several times in the Featherlight Southwest Series, but never has a win. Was running well at Sears Point 3 weeks ago until he experienced electrical problems. He did finish 3rd here last year. So far in the year 2000, he has no top 5 finishes, no top 10s. So this would be a big day for Holmes.
And the leaders are going to be coming up on a problem, Dan. Ross Thompson has just gotten together with Kenny Shepard coming into turn number 8. And here's a challenge and change for the lead.
Again, they're going to be racing back to the stripe. Rodman has already gotten around him.
Rodman now will be the leader. He will take it at lap, I believe we are coming up as they cross the start-finish line. They're coming up at lap 76. So the lead will change hands. And again, the gentleman's agreement to not pass, but race back to the line has just gone out the window.
Under our 8th caution of the day, and you can bet there's going to be some post-race discussion about that, particularly between Eric Holmes and Craig Rodman. Now, they had a driver's meeting earlier in the weekend. They said, guys, when a yellow flag comes out, there's no way we can control you out there on a street course. So if we can, let's set up a gentleman's agreement not to pass under the caution flag. However, you will be scored in the position that you are in when you cross the stripe.
So when they had the meeting, they were all gentlemen.
Exactly,
when they got on the
Fred.
track.
And when they climbed in and put up the window net and flicked the toggle switches to hit the engine, that went right out the window net.
Anyway, bottom line is that Craig Rodman,
and thanks to Bob Petty, we have a canine on the track. That's right.
Not sure if he's a team mascot.
Actually, I don't think he passed NASCAR technical inspection. He's being recalled back to the garage, and he could find our way into the production trailer.
All right. So while we get the pace truck and the dog catchers out here at the Ford LA Street Race, we will take a break. Craig Rodman is your leader. Eric Holmes is in second. Tim Woods giving it a great run here today in the 3rd spot.
People say Italy has the world's best food, so I tagged along with a local chef who shared his secrets.
The rare truffle is a delicacy that can only be found by the sensitive mouth of the pig.
I, too, have a delicacy that requires a pig. It's called the Bacon Bacon Cheeseburger. It's stacked with 4 pieces of mouth-watering bacon on melting cheese covered with even more bacon bits, so there's bacon in every bite.
That sounds delicious and easier.
When I was in high school, there was this guy. He was wild, and he drove a Mustang. And that was the guy and the car everybody wanted.
Nice car, Mom.
Some things never change.
See the Ford 2000 Mustang at your Mustang dealer. It's wilder than ever.
I'll drive. This one's mine.
Yeah, right.
I never thought I'd get a credit card until I called Providian. They gave me the chance to prove myself with a Visa secured card. Now, my credit's going up, up, up.
And I got a Visa Gold with a $1,000 credit line and no savings deposit. No card helps you build your credit faster. And because I was responsible, they increased my limit.
And nothing feels like gold in the palm of your hand. I have a few cards in my wallet, but this is my first gold card. And with Providian, my credit just keeps getting better. You know,
Gold means a higher credit line and more perks. Hey, people treat you differently when you have a gold card, but nothing compares to the prestige of
Platinum. I got a great rate, high credit line, and no annual fee. This is definitely the Visa card for me. Which one's right for you?
At Providian, it's never been easier to get the credit you deserve. Visa Classic to build or rebuild your credit. Visa Gold with up to $1,000 in instant credit. Or the purchasing power of Visa Platinum. Call now for approval right over the phone. Visa from Providian. We approve.
Under caution for the 8th time this afternoon in the downtown streets of Los Angeles. Welcome back to NBC 4's live exclusive coverage of the Ford LA Street Race. You see the top 10 there. Greg Pursley has worked his way back up to the 4th spot. You recall that Pursley pitted early in this race and has been picking off the positions lap after lap and very well possibly could have the fastest car on the track right now. Matt Crafton running in 5th. And we understand that they have gotten the dog off the track. In fact, there was a rumor it might seriously be Matt Crafton's dog.
Matt seeking any kind of assistance possible to win this race today, calling on 4-legged help.
You do what you got to do.
He figures, I guess, 4 wheels and 4 paws. I get the victory lane somehow.
While we're under the caution, and we have just a few moments here before they go back to green flag racing, let's meet another driver in the Featherlight Southwest Series. Here is M.K. Kanke.
As the active driver with the most wins, Mike Hankey gives a thumbs up to this kind of racing.
I like it a lot better. It's a lot more driving than oval tracks. The road course is just a lot more interesting because I think the more of the drivers come out there, and it's just a lot tougher racetrack. The temperature affects a lot of guys.
Mike has proven that he knows how to win races. So he already has a strategy for this one.
A lot of guys say, well, I'll take it easy till the end. You take it easy end, you're in your 18th, 19th, and you're not going to make up those positions at the end. So my strategy always was to get up towards the front, try to keep the positions, because it is a tight, narrow track.
That is the thoughts of M.K. Kanke, 38 years old, out of Fraser Park, California. Down to the pits to Patrick Healy.
Ross Thompson having a tough day today. John Carlson in the pits, apparently got run into the barriers.
Yeah, just some tight racing there. There's not really a lot of room in some of these street races. And that stuff's just going to happen. Kind of one of those racing deals, I guess.
In fact, your car just went by on the hook right behind us right now. Any idea how bad the damage is? How much you're going to have to fix for the next race?
Not so much for the next race. I'm pretty sure we're out for today. But hopefully we'll be back in 2 weeks at Irwindale.
Same car?
Probably same car, yeah. We'll probably take it back to Phoenix and do some work on the front end on it and do the body work.
This race you just count on some wear and tear.
Yeah, it tears up a lot of cars. These concrete walls on both sides, it's narrow, everybody's racing hard. It's kind of tough. It's tough to make it under 25 laps here.
John Carlson, better luck next time. His driver, Ross Thompson, out of the race. Let's go back upstairs.
Ross Thompson bringing out the most recent caution flag when he and Kenny Shepard got locked together, and actually Shepard pinched him off into the inside wall there, and Thompson got stuck and had to be pried out of the concrete.
Shepard currently being listed in the 12th spot. If you're not familiar with the Fender Light Southwest Series, it began in 1986 and is currently a 19-race schedule. This is the Mark Reed car in for repair. Some body damage there to the front end. And he gets it back going and rejoins the fight.
Showing the battle scars of what racing in LA can bring.
Again, this is a 19-race schedule. The Fender Light Southwest Series cars span across 6 states, 13 different racetracks. They race in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, California, Nevada, Utah. And they will race everything from the short tracks like the one at Madera to the super speedways like Phoenix International Raceway. Today, of course, they're on a street course.
And this is the second road course layout race they've had this year. Jim Inglebright won the first. He will not win today. And look at the attrition rate. Troy, you see engine, electrical, overheating, accident, fire, crash. You name it, we've had it.
RK Smith is out.
Waiting for the plague of locusts to come in. We've had everything else in this race.
The biggest heartbreak there is Jim Inglebright, who led many laps in this race, then had that fire on the brake rotor on the right front, which ended his day. Craig Rodman being shown in the top spot. We're going to go back to green flag racing here soon. Eric Holmes in second. Again, we talked about Tim Woods in the third spot, and Greg Pursley working his way back up to the 4th position.
Morris said making some progress, pitting early and out of sequence among the other drivers. He started as back as 35th, now up to 14th, and right now he's up to 7th, as we've got about 55 laps remaining.
We are on lap number 80. While we are under the caution, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be under green flag conditions. Stay with us. There is more to come. From the Ford LA Street Race, Craig Rodman, for the moment, is the man.
It's been called the ultimate family car, but it's actually a very sophisticated machine. It's a car that can sense how close your seat is to the steering wheel and tell the airbags how fast to inflate. The pedals adjust to the length of your legs, and in an emergency, the safety belts react to secure you. One day, all cars will be made like this. The Ford Taurus, a pretty safe investment.
I never thought I'd get a credit card until I called Providian. They gave me the chance to prove myself with a Visa secured card. Now, my credit's going up, up, up.
And I got a Visa Gold with a $1,000 credit line and no savings deposit. No card helps you build your credit faster. And because I was responsible, they increased my limit.
And nothing feels like gold in the palm of your hand. I have a few cards in my wallet, but this is my first gold card. And with Providian, my credit just keeps getting better. You know,
Gold means a higher credit line and more perks. Hey, people treat you differently when you have a gold card, but nothing compares to the prestige
of Platinum. I got a great rate, high credit line, and no annual fee. This is definitely the Visa card for me. Which one's right for you?
At Providian, it's never been easier to get the credit you deserve. Visa Classic to build or rebuild your credit. Visa Gold with up to $1,000 in instant credit. Or the purchasing power of Visa Platinum. Call now for approval right over the phone. Visa from Providian. We approve.
Monday morning on Today in L.A.
Teaching children about sex, what the experts say you should do when kids have questions.
Plus a high-tech solution for a life-threatening disease. Monday morning, I'll help you ease your way back into that rush hour traffic.
And we'll cool you back down with basic weather on Today in L.A.
You chose the couple, America, and you picked their tux and gown. Now it's time to dress the bridal party. So log on and cast your vote. Remember, the voting ends Monday at noon.
Back under the green flag in Los Angeles, there you see your leader, Craig Rodman, with just a short lead over Eric Holmes. They skid off of turn 7, headed to turn 8. Tim Woods holding down the 3rd spot. Rodman gingerly with the gas pedal. Working up to speed there. You don't want to break it away. Has about 3 car lengths in hand over the 2nd spot of Eric Holmes up Figueroa Boulevard.
Behind them is where the real racing is. Forrest said he's trying to work his way back up through the field. Let's go to Patrick Healy.
In the pits with one of the real up-and-comers in the Featherlight Tour, Augie Vinovich, and a tough day for you. What finally put you out?
Well, we got into turn 1 a little hard and went too wide and got to the back part of the track and ran into the wall.
Augie, if you'll excuse me, we'll take a quick look over here. If you pan to your left, that's Augie's car right here, and they're working on the right front trying to fix it up. How hard did you hit?
I hit pretty hard. You really don't notice the hits that bad because it's made to crush, so I didn't hit that hard, but it's enough to ruin the front end.
This track really beats up on you in the car.
Yeah, it's a rough track. It's really hard. If you could be fast here, you're pretty good.
Is it getting any slicker as the day goes on?
No, it's actually getting a little better. The tires were wearing. It was kind of equaling out, so it stayed the same.
So you're going to be ready to go for Irwindale in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'll be ready. I'll be there.
Okay, Augie Vinovich, good luck. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. So Augie Vinovich out of the race. Let's go back upstairs.
M.K. Kanky and Kenny Shepard are paying a visit to the pits. Clint Curry has spun it at turn 7. And that brings out the yellow flag again for the 9th time this afternoon. There's the car of Jeff Hill.
Spinning in turn 7.
Obviously he has stalled it. Rodman gets around, and again we're in that situation where they're charging back to the stripe.
And he collected Mark Green momentarily. Here's a replay for us right now. Let's see what happened. This is turn 7. Oh, whoa! Traffic stacking up there.
Trying to avoid Rudy Reback.
And for the moment, just waiting for the lanes to clear.
That happens a lot in Los Angeles. So the pace truck is out once again on lap number 84.
For a moment there, I thought we were going to have a SID alert.
And Jeff Hill has stalled it and cannot refire his machine. That is frustration.
That's helplessness. Here's another look.
Not sure where Rudy was running at that point when he found the wall. Again, very slippery through that portion of the track. And it looks like Jeff is going to go home on the hook to get this car out of the way. Again, lap number 84 out of a scheduled 125. And they might try to push start it. There you go.
And it works. And he gives a gentle wave out the window. Thank you, boys. And he's off.
There you go. Saved him a call to AAA. Under caution.
Offering emergency assistance even in street races.
Greg Pursley riding in the 4th position. Matt Crafton in 5th. And Mikey mentioned a while ago, Boris said in the 6th spot. Quietly riding in 6th. You've still got a lot of laps left. Might want to keep your eye on Boris said. Mike Storms has a report for us. Let's go down to Mike Storms. All right. I think we'll get back down there in a second.
That was Mike taking a brief nap.
Okay, some technical problems there. We'll get that cleared up soon. We'll go back down to Mike Storms. 9th caution of the afternoon. Beautiful day for a motor race. Temperatures in the low 90s when it started. It is now coming up on 5:15. It's cooled down just a little bit. Great day for a motorsports event in downtown Los Angeles.
See the assistant there in the pace truck giving the indication we will go racing in one more lap, extending the arm out the window and giving the one-to-go signal now as the field works the backside of the course. Watching Craig Rodman try to hold off and pick up a win. Eric Holmes is second. Tim Woods, that is the car that is third in line. Actually, yeah, that is Tim in third in line. And then fourth, you have Greg Pursley, who started on the pole this afternoon. He has slid back to the field after making some early pit strategy moves. And then Matt Crafton has worked his way up to fifth. Boris Said is sixth, the veteran road racer. After pitting off sequence and early got shuffled to the back of the pack, will now move his way back to the front and try to get up here and score the win.
Craig Rodman suffered a broken left foot in a Winston West accident at California Speedway in April of this year. After surgery and lots of physical therapy, he says the foot is okay, and I believe him, because now he is in the top spot. 3 weeks ago at Sears Point, he needed relief, and he got it from his brother, Chris Rodman,
a former champion in this series.
Craig could not go the distance in the Sears Point race, so he got out, and Chris jumped in and finished the event for him. And I don't think Craig's going to jump out of that car now.
Craig's a serious racer. Matter of fact, he sold his business to go racing. Owns a chassis builder, or actually a chassis business. He builds chassis. Sold it. He's going racing. And right now, we're back to racing.
Opens up just a bit of a lead as they fly off of turn 1 and up Figueroa. That's Craig Rodman in the top spot. 3 car lengths over Eric Holmes. And they bunch up there 3 wide into turn 2. That's Greg Pursley making the bold move and taking away the 3rd position from Tim Woods. So remember Pursley, who led so many laps in the early going, pitted early and now has worked his way back up to 3rd. What a comeback by Pursley.
Wow.
And he chases down now the top 2 cars as we are working lap number 86. Check that, 87. The laps clicking off as we near the conclusion of the Ford LA Street Race. Rodman sliding it out wide. Eric Holmes almost took advantage of that opportunity.
These cars are really, really eating up the racing group. Watch them as they come into turn 2 now. Watch the front of Rodman's car dip. There he goes. You see the front end tip down? That's when he's jamming on the brakes. As now Eric Holmes tries to have a challenge and change for the lead, but won't make it happen this time.
Back to Mike Storms.
I'm with Bobby Mine, the crew chief for Greg Pursley. He was dominant early. Can he regain the 1st position?
I think so. We're just waiting our time right now. Just kind of letting the laps go by. Right now, we're a lot faster than 2 guys in front of us. We're just trying to save our stuff till the end.
Well, that has to bode well for you then.
Yes, it does. We're pretty happy.
And is it easier to stay out of trouble up there in the front like that?
It's a lot easier for him to stay out of trouble in the front than in the back. A lot.
He's going to turn his attention back to the leaders as they come across the start-finish line. Bobby Mine thinking that his man can do it. Now, one.
I've lost program again.
Back here, the downtown streets of Los Angeles, you saw the bumping and banging there through turn 7. Craig Rodman, Eric Holmes, and Greg Pursley battling here at Los Angeles. Lots of contact being made there, Mike, but everybody maintained position.
A lot of rooting and gouging and pushing and shoving. This is for the lead. Watch this racing right here. The leader slides way wide, 3 wide momentarily. Greg Pursley tried to cram it in there. It didn't work, and he did the best thing he could, and that's apply the brakes.
Boris Said is now joining the party from the 4th position. Here come your leaders, flying up Coliseum Drive. You see the red car there. That's the 4th car of Boris Said. It's going to get interesting here in a minute. Rodman from the left-hand turn 6. Eric Holmes holding his own in second.
And what are the top three drivers thinking right now? They've got Superman Said behind them. The road course veteran.
Now here's the strategy, and a lot of the teams talked about this all weekend long. If it got down to about lap 90, lap 95, and you're sliding all over the track, do you come in for tires? Absolutely not. You stay out because it's tough to pass here. So track position is everything. You keep your position no matter how bad you're sliding. We'll see how bad they're sliding when we come back from a break. There'll be more to come from the Ford LA Street Race. We're working lap number 90. Craig Rodman is your leader. He's got 3 cars in hot pursuit.
Visit Exposition Park. Take a journey of discovery at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. It's an awesome experience.
Introducing AT&T Digital PocketNet service. Free unlimited access to the wireless internet that lets you trade stocks, stay up on sports, and even keep up with world news. It's technology that lets you divide and conquer. So while you may be just one person, you can be in more than one place at one time. Wireless from AT&T. Your world, close at hand.
What about Wednesday? Yeah, I'd put a sitcom in that time slot. I think it would...
So anyway, your show's been cancelled.
Cancelled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
Can you imagine a world where you can take your shade with you? We can. An automatic rear sunshade. Just one of the many innovations you'll find within the sanctuary of the Infiniti i30. It's all the best thinking.
NBC4 is proud to announce the return of Wave LA, Saturday, September 16th at UCLA. Spend an evening with singer-songwriter Eric Benet and the incredible Dave Koz. Portion of the proceeds benefit the Magic Johnson Foundation. For tickets, call 213-480-3232.
Tom Hanks takes on Spielberg. Next, Access Hollywood.
We've got a street fight in Los Angeles among the top 4 cars on lap number 94. Craig Rodman in the lead, but only barely over Eric Holmes, Greg Pursley, and Boris Said.
Boris now stalking the top 3, falling back earlier in the race. Now working his way back up through the field. Running in fourth, a veteran road racer, in case you've never heard the name Boris Said. He is Boris Said III. There are 2 others, not necessarily just like him. However, Boris, a road racing veteran, has raced on road courses worldwide. He's raced at Le Mans, Sebring. He's won the 24 Hours of Daytona. And he's driven every type of race car imaginable. He's driven BMWs, he's driven Porsches. He's driven NASCAR Craftsman trucks. He's run the Busch Series. He's run NASCAR Western Cup. Currently racing here today in the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Series after racing in Germany in the American Le Mans Series a week ago. But right now he's fallen back a touch. Don't know if those boys were told, you know, you might want to settle down and save some for the end. We're at lap 94. We still have quite a ways to go.
Now, Boris Said riding in that 4th spot in the 98 car, the red car, maybe just playing a waiting game. Sometimes the drivers in front of you, well, thought maybe there might have been a problem there. You can watch that shot. I'm not sure if Pursley is still in the 3rd position.
Pursley has hit the wall, Dan. He's coming to pit road right now. Pursley, through the series of turns 4 and 5, has hit the wall and is on pit road. So the third place guy you see in there at the top of your screen, he has come to pit road and a problem. Here's Pursley. Oh, and that's turn 4. That is another problem corner. The car just got away from him, and he slapped into the outside walls. Hayes even unbolted some of the fiberglass there, so that's a hard hit.
Burst of flames from underneath the automobile, right on impact. Here's the shot from pit road. Let's go down to Mike Storms.
Greg Pursley is in. They are lifting the hood off. Chunks of concrete are falling from beneath the car as he came to a halt. Just penny-sized pieces of concrete dropping from beneath the car. The hood is up. That is never a good sign. You can see the scrapes and gouges along the side of this car. The crew looking underneath. There is a broken line. You can see a broken line underneath. Greg Pursley, who was making a dash for the front after leading for such a long time, has shut the engine off, and it looks like his day is finished.
I would love to hear from Greg Pursley once he steps out of the car and find out what happened there. Had a great run going here this afternoon, clawing his way all the way back up to the 3rd spot and now finding the wall. We talked with some of the drivers about that particular turn. That is turn 4, and it's deceptive. They say you think you can make up some time through there. You think you can really fly the car through there, but the wall on the right-hand side comes up on you unexpectedly.
There comes the challenge for the lead. Eric Holmes trying to get a little caboose shot there on Craig Rodman. Trying to punch him up out of the way, and now he's going to dive for the bottom, but nothing is there. Track is very slick, and when you're on older tires, you got to make the moves count. But he's testing the waters.
520 horsepower machines, and Holmes was just letting Craig Rodman know that he's there. Lap number 97 goes into the books.
And it's now a 2-man fight for the win. It was nose to tail with 4 drivers.
They get around the ailing machine of Bob Lyon.
And Boris Said has fallen off the pace. Problems for Boris Said. He was running in 4th. Now he's posted back in 7th. And a tough break there for Boris Said, who now will fall from contention as we work to the later stages. Look at Holmes really crank the rear end out there.
This is NASCAR racing at its best as Holmes may look to the inside here coming off the corner. They cross the stripe. 27 laps will remain.
These are Rodman's corners here. He gets through these corners the best. Holmes' shot is right before these corners. You've seen him poke the nose in there a couple of times and has been denied so far. But as we get into later stages, we've seen already today that these boys aren't afraid to make contact.
And when they hit the straightaways, Rodman is able to pull away.
And right here is a Holmes turn. Oh, you give him a little shot right there.
Eric Holmes versus Craig Rodman in the streets of Los Angeles.
These cars are made of fiberglass, not sheet metal like we're used to seeing in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. So when you make contact, the body is a bit more forgiving. You can't just ram somebody, but you can put a fender up alongside of them and kind of nudge them to let them know you're there, and that's what Eric Holmes is doing to race leader Craig Rodman right now.
Eric Holmes started racing at age 17, late model racing at Stockton Speedway, using his dad's old race car. He's been racing in this series since 1996. Has several second-place finishes, but never a win. He'd love to get his first one here in L.A. Looks to the outside of the corner now on Craig Rodman.
Trying everything he can. That's not going to work there. Correct something I said a moment ago. Boris said, I said it fell back through the pack. Scoring now has been updated. Scoring incorrectly had him posted in the 7th position. He still is in 3rd, although he's almost 7 seconds behind this battle you're watching right now, and that is the battle for the lead.
Craig Rodman in the lead, 38 years old, out of Redding, California, feeling the pressure from Eric Holmes. Now, Holmes is just trying to make Rodman make a mistake. Maybe he can spook him. Maybe he can distract him in the mirror. And it's up to Rodman here to keep his cool in the closing stages of the LA 4th Street race.
We are beginning to see the have and the have-nots in the chassis department right now, in the tire wear department, and at all corners of this racetrack. Watch Eric Holmes come in right here. He'll close off on Rodman, but won't be able to get close enough to mount a charge.
Clint Curry,
trouble in turn 6.
In turn 6, almost blocking the roadway. See the field making their way by there, and we are under caution, a full course yellow. As that gentleman standing there waving the red flag with the yellow cross on it indicates that pit road is closed. That is the pit flagman. He has a red flag with a yellow cross, meaning it's closed. The green flag means it's open, and it is closed because of caution. Look at the right front tire coming off on the Boris said machine.
And Boris lost the right front tire coming to this caution flag.
Now that's what you call driving the wheels off that race car. Tough break for Boris said, running in the 3rd spot when that tire came off. Back under caution for the 11th time here at the Ford LA Street Race. This will bunch up the field. Something Craig Rodman did not want to see. While we have a moment, let's meet another Featherlight Southwest driver. Here is Darrell Lamore.
At first glance, Darrell Lamore's car number 17 looks like any other brightly colored race car. But on closer inspection, you'll see that Darrell is racing for the missing, a very unique public awareness partnership where Darrell has covered his car with photos of missing children and adults.
Our program, Racing for the Missing, is a public awareness and prevention campaign where we're in hopes of generating that one lead that can bring closure in a family's life of a missing child or a missing adult.
And as Darrell races around the streets in LA or even has his car worked on in the pits, his goal of highlighting these missing persons is very simple.
Try to introduce the family stories, reintroduce it, and maybe gain that one lead.
He works with the Missing Children's Network to help locate young children that have been lost or abducted. The car donning the Mikkel Biggs photograph this weekend. And the telephone number for the Mesa, Arizona Police Department.
Very enterprising use of a race car. There's the shot from high above. In News Chopper 4, Bob Petty at the controls. Craig Rodman is your leader. Eric Holmes in second. Matt Crafton cracking the top 3.
Good run for him today.
Tim Woods has fallen back to 4th. Todd Sousa having a great drive this afternoon in the 5th spot.
Started 23rd. The numbers in parenthesis are the starting spots. And Todd Sousa, starting mid-pack, has worked his way up into the top 5.
Darrell Lamore is in 7th. Morissette has slid back to 9th, and Greg Pursley is being shown in the 10th spot. So while we're under caution for the 11th time this afternoon, we will take a short break. Stay with us. Come back. There's more to come from the Ford LA Street Race.
Simple and accessible plans for everybody. That's Verizon Wireless. And right now, there's never been a better time to join in, because people coast to coast are discovering single rate. On plans as low as $35 a month, get 150 minutes with no long distance or roaming charges. Then get connected with an AudioVox 9000 phone. Hurry into a Verizon Wireless location near you or call 1-888-466-4646. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Well, it says here we can be anything we want if we just create a personal mantra.
So we can be Foster Farms chickens?
Yeah, now exhale, close your eyes, and repeat these words. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Fresh, tasty, meaty, juicy. Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
Foster Farms Fresh Chicken. Always natural, always fresh.
More donuts, more donuts, more donuts, more donuts, more donuts.
What about Wednesday? Yeah, I'd put a sitcom in that time slot. I think if we...
So anyway, your show's been cancelled.
Cancelled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
What would happen if a Harley got together with a Ford? This Harley-Davidson F-150.
There's never been a more complete line of full-size trucks from Ford, America's truck leader. From the F-350 Super Duty to the new F-150 Super Crew.
Nice Harley.
Nice crew.
Back.
at the Ford LA Street Race. There you see a shot of the Los Angeles Sports Arena. We are under caution on lap number 103. So far, Craig Rodman has been able to hold Eric Holmes at bay. Now you toss in Matt Crafton, who's been working his way up through the field, and Matt may have something for him. Crafton is the series points leader by 110 points over Doug McCown.
Folks, you might want to slide to the refrigerator right now and take care of any business you have to, because this is getting set to get wild.
We are going to have shootout to the finish.
We've seen some beating and banging and some rooting and gouging today, but when it comes down to the end of the race, and you've got 20 laps to go and you're trying to get a win, this is the highest paying race this series has had to offer ever in its history. So you dangle good money in front of these boys, and you're going to see something.
It's ironic that their best payday comes at a street course. But we are in Los Angeles, and sponsors pony up bigger cash for the exposure. This is a series that runs mainly on ovals, short tracks, super speedways. But here on the street course of Los Angeles, they vie for the big bucks.
This restart is going to be critical. Eric Holmes, who's running in second, he's the second car in line behind the leader, is going to want to get up through the gearbox a half a second quicker coming to the green and not spin his tires. We'll wait for the green now.
Look at
Rodman, and here we go.
Slowing it down just a little bit. That strategy there by Rodman.
Rodman got the better jump on the restart.
Pulls away now by about a car length and a half.
Look at him stacking up behind him, though. Third place, Matt Crafton now has Tim Wood stacking up behind him. As here goes Holmes again, slides wide and almost opens the inside lane for Crafton.
He's feeling the pressure from Crafton. This is dicey stuff here. Working lap number 105. 20 laps remain in the Ford LA Street Race. There's the look out of the third place machine, chasing down the leaders through Coliseum Drive. Rodman sliding for the left-hand turn 6. Second and third gear corners here, down to the second gear. Negotiating the right-hand 180-degree turn, up into third, and then the left-hand turn 8. The shot from overhead as Rodman stretches out his lead there. Almost a full second lead.
0.6 of a second between Rodman, the 2 car, and Eric Holmes in the 63. And it's 1 second back to the red car there. That's Matt Crafton in the 46. Speaking of Matt, that's his look from the top of his machine. Coming off the turn number 4 now. Coming to turn 4. And he lost some ground last time by for the switchbacks.
Rodman has to be careful here not to use up whatever is left of his tires. He's got to have something for at least the last 3 laps. You can chew him up here pretty good just trying to stay in front of Holmes.
Matt is losing ground. He's trying to gain it. But when we say that Matt's losing ground, you look above, Eric Holmes, he's the white car that you're looking at. As that's the race leader. The white car behind is Eric Holmes. He's making up ground on the course periodically. And this goes into this thing that we had earlier where Rodman, the black 2 car, is better in some parts of the course than the white car behind him. That's the Taco Bell machine. That's Rodman there, or that's Holmes there in the 63. You talk about battle. Look at the car in front of the race leader. Missing the fender, missing the hood.
That would be Clint Curry, I believe, and he could be the fly in the ointment here for Rodman.
Oh, and the lap car pinches off the leader.
Eric Holmes not close enough to take advantage yet.
Now he's sliding that. Now that allowed Holmes to catch the leader. That allowed Holmes to catch Rodman. It helped him, but can he capitalize? And when you're running second and you're going for the lead, that's what you look for. You look for the car in front of you to get held up. And that's what happened with the race leader.
Matt Crafton did get held up by that lap machine. Can't really blame the lap machine. He's doing everything he can to get out of the way, but this is a very narrow street course. And so now it becomes a 2-car battle on lap number 108. Rodman and Eric Holmes. Holmes looks like he can stretch it out there through Coliseum Drive.
When they come to the line, 17 laps will remain in this race.
And look at the race leader there, lighting up the brakes, the right front getting lit up. And he's sliding the back end. That tells me that Rodman is maybe doing a little overdriving. Well, the best thing Holmes could do is just be patient and stay right there and let the leader back up to him. Let the leader make the mistake. Because when you go locking up the brakes and the smoke gets going and the back end gets sliding, you're doing everything you can to hang on. Craig Rodman with 6 career wins in the Featherlight Southwest Series. The last win, however, for Craig Rodman came back in 1997 on the road course at Sears Point. So it's been a while since he's tasted victory. Craig Rodman finished 2nd here last year, and he's only had 1 top 10 in the year 2000. Overlap traffic in front of the leader, gets out of the way. Now they'll close in on another car. But it looks like if Rodman can hang on, he could have his first win since 1997. First game on the road course, but there's lots of laps left. 109 goes in the books. And Rodman looks to be pulling away just a bit. Eric Holmes is in 2nd, Matt Kraft in 3rd, Tim Woods riding in the 4th spot, Todd Sousa in 5th, Doug McCown is 6th, 7th is Darrell Lamore, 8th is Mark Reed, Greg Pickett moving up to the 9th spot, and 10th is Carson Woods. 8 cars on the lead lap. So while we complete lap number 110, it is Craig Rodman with 15 laps remaining. Staying with us. Can he keep it up there to the finish? There will be more coming from the downtown streets of Los Angeles in the Ford LA Street Race. Don't go away.
People say Italy has the world's best food, so I tagged along with a local chef who shared his secrets.
The rare truffle is a delicacy that can only be found by the sensitive mouth of the pig.
I, too, have a delicacy that requires a pig. It's called the Bacon Cheeseburger. It's stacked with 4 pieces of mouth-watering bacon on melting cheese covered with even more bacon bits, so there's bacon in every bite.
That sounds delicious and easier.
Announcing AT&T Digital PocketNet service. Free unlimited access to the wireless internet, so you can check movie listings, find restaurants, buy books, and get sports scores just by picking up the phone. And if you can do all this in the time it takes to cross the road, imagine what you can do with the rest of your life. Wireless from AT&T, your world close at hand.
On the next Extra, an exclusive interview with O.J. Simpson.
They all think I'm guilty.
Now you can click on his new website and ask him anything you want. But is he just trying to make money off the murders? Then she was an heir to the Woolworth department store fortune, worth over $60 million. But now she's living in poverty. How a family betrayal took her from riches to rags. Plus, private moments with Tammy Faye. Next Extra.
Monday at 7, here on NBC4.
Coming this Tuesday, the Will and Grace-a-thon. 6 episodes all in one great night. Bonus. Voted by you, the viewer, to be the 6 best episodes. It might include this one, or this one, or maybe this one.
Whoa, got skirt?
6 episodes on the Will and Grace-a-thon. NBC Tuesday.
Columbo, Kojak, Magnum P.I., and now the adventure begins. The Michael Richards Show, coming this fall to NBC.
Back at the Ford LA Street Race, and we are under caution. On lap 113, the caution is being displayed. And this is a flag that Craig Rodman did not want to see.
There you see. Nail biting time right there. That's wife Stacy. You see by the way she's clasping her hands. It's nail biting time.
Craig Rodman wanted to see it go green all the way to the finish to lap number 125. That is not going to happen. We are under caution for the 12th time this afternoon. And what this does is it'll bunch up the field. And Eric Holmes will get another good look at Craig Rodman. said, Mike, there's wife Stacy. It's nail-biting time for her.
Yeah, it's not a good time down there. Maybe I do. Well, yeah, okay.
Working the wheel.
Man, elbows and forearms in that car.
That is Carson Woods.
But he did a great job of not spinning out and keeping it off the fence.
Yes, he did. So we are under caution again in the Ford LA Street Race. There's the second place machine of Eric Holmes. Matt Crafton in third. I get the sense that Matt Crafton perhaps just does not have enough car to stay with the leaders. There you see the crew for Eric Holmes in the Taco Bell machine.
Coincidentally, pitted next to Craig Rodman. And there you have the third place driver, Matt Crafton.
While we're under the caution, we've got some time here. Let's learn more about the Matt Crafton family, because in their family, racing is a family affair.
For Matt Crafton, the Southwest Series point leader, racing is a family affair. And Matt is following in his dad's NASCAR footsteps early.
He was 5, he started racing bikes. 7, he was racing go-karts. And when he was 14, he was racing midgets. And he just kept progressing up.
That helps a ton to have my dad. He's been through all that stuff, and I just ask questions, and he'll give me advice. Let's try this. I don't think a lot of drivers have that.
Matt's mom chips in to drive the motorhome and make sure everyone knows their schedule.
Oh, she loves it. She wouldn't have us anywhere else but here.
We've always went as a family to the races. It keeps the family together. Instead of vacations, we go racing.
And Matt is looking forward to seeing even another Crafton behind the wheel.
Yeah, it's all a family affair. Hopefully I'll have a son. He can follow in my footsteps.
There you have it. Background on the Crafton family.
And time to get some air right there.
There he is.
It is very hot in that race car. And he's probably checking for blisters. One of the few drivers that drives without gloves on. Most drivers have fire-retardant gloves that they wear. But Matt going gloveless, and right now, he needs a whole lot of air.
Let's check in with Jennifer Bjorklund.
Well, we're here in the stands with a whole bunch of fans, and we got Austin here. Now, you've been having a little competition with your mom, too. You picked out a car. Which car do you like?
Second.
Number 2, you like Craig Rodman's car? Now, tell me why'd you pick that one?
Because I knew it would win.
Now, what do you picked another car, and you guys are cheering as your cars go by, huh?
Yes, I'm picking number 43. We have a team here, and we're racing against my son and my son's friends.
Now, these drivers are racing for a whole bunch of money. What are you guys pulling for? What's at stake here, Mom?
First, I believe that he's gonna owe me some Taco Bell if I win.
I see, or just at least some bragging rights here. Now we got some other fans here. We got Eric. Your name's Eric, right? Now tell me, who do you like out here?
I like 2.
Is it 50? You're a Tim Woods fan, aren't you? Yeah, a lot of Tim Woods fans out here this afternoon. And we're going to go to Patrick. He's in the pit with somebody. Patrick, what you got?
The racetrack very...
Still under caution in the Ford LA Street Race. Lap number 115 is complete. 10 laps remain.
And the 10-lap rule is in effect. If you are new to NASCAR racing, what that means is, at other points during this race, lap cars that have gone down a lap to the leaders, were able to intermingle in with the lead lap cars. Well, what this means now, being that we are within 10 laps from the finish, the lead lap cars will finish the race nose to tail, or restart this race nose to tail, with the lap cars out of the line and behind them. So it's only the lead lap cars who will get up there and settle things amongst themselves. So that's going to prove interesting. You don't have lap traffic to deal with, and right now, it's going to be a dogfight for the win as Craig Rodman tries to hold off Eric Holmes and Matt Kraft, along with Tim Woods and Todd Souza, And it does help a lot when you have free and clear racetrack to work with and not have to worry about the lap cars.
We saw the drivers of Mark Reed, Daryl Lamore, Matt Crafton. Look at Matt trying to get comfortable. They do say this is one of the most physical racing facilities on the tour. The constant shifting. You saw Matt Crafton looking at his hand a few moments ago. We did some calculations. They shift an average of 15 times per lap. At 125 laps, let me get the abacus out here. That's well in excess of 1,800 shifts on a Sunday afternoon, and the hands do feel it.
And folks, he really did do that on-the-spot calculation.
Here we go.
All right. Coming to green.
Going back to green flag racing. 9 laps to go. Craig Rodman steps on the gas, and he will try to run away and hide from Eric Holmes, Matt Crafton, and company. Tim Woods in the 4th spot, locking it up there into turn 1. They maintain control. Crafton looking to the inside of Holmes, trying to make a pass for second. Oh, Holmes, he just flirts with that wall every time right there at turn 3.
Now he's going to try the outside lane. That is not the preferred lane here. This is turn 4.
So while Rodman pulls away, the battle for second is a good one. We'll come back to it here in just a second. We're going to take a quick break and come back for the checkered flag. This is the Ford LA Street Race. Craig Rodman is your leader. Eric Holmes second. Matt Crafton, Tim Woods, and Todd Sousa round out the top 5.
What happens when you question everything? 3 great wireless companies can become one even better wireless company. Simple, affordable, national. Parabolic Mobile, AirTouch Cellular, and PrimeCo have become Verizon Wireless. Join in. If it crashes, dashes, or smashes, Fred will show it to you. Sports like you've never seen before. Catch Fred Rogan's Sunday Night Sports, Sunday at 11:15, only on NBC4. Monday at 5 on the Channel 4 News. You do it anyway, but what if you could make extra money by simply driving your car to work or wherever? We'll show you how some cars are earning their owners big bucks. The full story Monday at 5, only on the Channel 4 News.
Remember, we knock over the cans, she looks, we jump in her cart, and tell her we're Fresh Foster Farms chicken.
Right.
Cole! You looking for some Foster Farms chicken?
You're not Foster Farms chickens.
Well,
they're fresh, California grown, and besides, isn't that a freezer burn?
We don't want aisle 3. Oh, no, that's a tattoo.
Foster Farms fresh chicken. Always natural, always fresh.
Well, this isn't going to make us any fresher.
NBC4 is proud to announce the return of Wave LA, Saturday, September 16th at UCLA. Spend an evening with singer-songwriter Eric Benet. And the incredible Dave Koz. Portion of the proceeds benefit the Magic Johnson Foundation. For tickets, call 213-480-3232.
Back to NBC4's live exclusive coverage of the Ford LA Street Race. You see the race summary there. Craig Rodman is the leader by 1.4 seconds over Eric Holmes. Now it's over Matt Crafton. We've had a switch there in the leaderboard. Crafton has gotten around Holmes. But is there enough time to catch Rodman?
He's got 3 seconds to make up in only 6 laps. And Crafton has got to hope that Rodman has some bad luck coming here into the final stretch.
I'm truly surprised by the amount of tire wear that Craig Rodman is getting. At this late point in the game, he's still getting some pretty good grip there off the corner. Here's the look out of the front windshield of the second-place machine, driven by Matt Crafton, your series points leader.
You know, I noticed something there. Crafton taking a wider line into the corner, trying to take a higher approach where it's more tacky. The tires can get a better grip instead of slipping and sliding in the groove where everyone else is running. He's trying the higher line, trying to get up off the corner quicker than leader Rodman.
Craig Rodman getting a little squirrely there as he entered into turn 1. Again, this is Matt Crafton's car chasing down the leader. through the downtown streets of Los Angeles with only 4 laps remaining. In the Ford LA Street Race, you got a glimpse of Rodman there, and so too did Crafton. And when a driver can see the leader, it's almost good for 20 more horsepower.
And he's closing in. That is Rodman's wife in the upper right-hand corner. That's Stacy. Her hands clasped shut, talking to herself. Eyes, oh man, she's a basket case.
Look at Crafton throw the car sideways, and he's coming up on lap traffic. Crosses the stripe. Crafton will have to get around the lap car.
And he's closed down, Dan. 1.7 seconds between he and Rodman. This is Crafton here, bypassing the lap car, coming into turn 2. This turn will turn you 2/3 back the other way. A quick jog to the right, that's turn 3. And that is the race leader directly in front of us right there.
3 laps left in the Ford LA Street Race. And Crafton is trying to catch the leader. He gets a good look at him there through the left-hand turn 6. All Rodman has to do now is bring it home.
And he is closing, but does he have enough time?
Now, Craig may figure he's got enough of a buffer where he doesn't have to push that hard. Oh, it is very slick through there. You saw Rodman get the front end crossed up, counter-steered to save the slide.
3 laps to go.
Working lap number 123 out of 125. As Crafton has to work the outside of lap traffic there.
And that's going to cost him.
Yes, it is.
That cost him a bunch.
Motoring through Coliseum Drive. You see the LA Coliseum there in the background.
And you're on board now with Crafton. This is for second. This is second place, looking to the race leader.
Both of these guys got to be careful not to make a mistake here. They're finding a little bit of glare right there at that part of the track. We saw some in-car camera shots earlier as the sun sets a little lower there. We approach the 6 o'clock hour.
2 laps to go. And if
Look how
Crafton
narrow
has
turn
anything
1
left,
is.
if Crafton has anything left, it's time to lay the cards on the table right now. But it looks like Rodman has got this one locked up. Oh, but he hangs the rear end out. Coming off of turn 2, and so does Crafton. This track is getting extremely slick. This could come down to a matter of survival.
Rodman could make that mistake or have that brief miscue, which would hand the lead over to Crafton.
Crafton behind 2.69 seconds. And we are coming to the white flag when Rodman comes to the start-finish line this time. 1 lap will remain in this race.
This is Featherlight Southwest Series competition in the Ford LA Street Race, being brought to you live and exclusively on NBC4. Again, Rodman slides it up to turn 8, white flag in the air for Craig Rodman. 1 mile to go.
And a 2-second lead.
Look at him saw back and forth.
He almost hits the wall coming into turn 2.
Might have scraped it. Half a mile left now for Rodman. Here's the look out of Matt Crafton's car. I don't think he's going to get a good shot at him unless Rodman slides it again off the corner.
Problem for Eric Holmes running in third, falling off the pace. The race for the win is amongst these 2 drivers. Here comes Rodman. Crafton behind him. The 2 car is your leader. He will be coming to the checkered flag this time, coming off of turn number 8. And he hangs the rear end out one more time.
Craig Rodman has not won a Featherlight race since Sears Point in 1997. He comes off of turn 8. He is unchallenged for the lead. Craig Rodman has his 7th career win. He is king of the streets of Los Angeles and wins the Ford LA Street Race. Terrific win by Craig Rodman. There you see the jubilation of the crew. There's his wife, Stacy.
Now that's jubilation there.
That is a happy bunch.
No doubt some tears of joy in that bunch.
And that's also their best payday in the year 2000. Here's a little bit of the aftermath.
More problems for Fernando Sterling.
His 3rd incident of the afternoon.
Problems in turn 4 coming to the checkered flag. But Craig Rodman has won the highest paying race in the NASCAR Featherlight Southwest Series.
That's the slowest Rodman has gone all day as he's trying to get around the car of Fernando Sterling. Let's go down to Fred Rogan.
All right, we're with the crew chief, Tracy Norman. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
It's been a while since Craig has been here.
Yeah, well, he was here last year. We finished second, and then he's hurt, and he's doing a heck of a job for us.
Talk about the race, the strategy, and what you think happened.
Well, a lot of it was going to pit early so we can get some good spots in the field. We had brake problems, so we had to bleed the brakes a couple times and come in about 3 times, actually, but we survived, and our driver come through for us.
And each time you bleed the brakes and he has to come in, you have to be a little bit more nervous.
Oh, yeah, a lot more nervous, hoping it'll seal back up when we do it.
All right, Tracy, thanks so very much. Craig Rodman, the winner. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk with the winner from the LA Ford Street Race right after this.
My kids would like me to have a station wagon. My dog would like me to have a station wagon. Remember that? Back then, a station wagon was a pretty big deal. However, everything has to grow up. Have you seen the Ford Excursion? Now this is a big deal. And it seats 9.
Hey, guys. They're back. Hi, sweetie.
I never thought I'd get a credit card until I called Providian. They gave me the chance to prove myself with a Visa secured card. Now, my credit's going up, up, up.
And I got a Visa Gold with a $1,000 credit line and no savings deposit. No card helps you build your credit faster. And because I was responsible, they increased my limit.
And nothing feels like gold in the palm of your hand. I have a few cards in my wallet, but this is my first gold card. And with Providian, my credit just keeps getting better. You know,
Gold means a higher credit line and more perks. Hey, people treat you differently when you have a gold card, but nothing compares to the prestige of
Platinum. I got a great rate, high credit line, and no annual fee. This is definitely the Visa card for me. Which one's right for you?
At Providian, it's never been easier to get the credit you deserve. Visa Classic to build or rebuild your credit. Visa Gold with up to $1,000 in instant credit. Or the purchasing power of Visa Platinum. Call now for approval right over the phone. Visa from Providian. We approve.
What about Wednesday? Yeah, I'd put a sitcom in that time slot. I think it would...
So anyway, your show's been cancelled.
Cancelled? I just bought a house.
Look at these guys. Network TV programmers. They decide what we watch and when we watch it.
You can't go in there.
Who needs them? TiVo. TV your way.
Tom Hanks takes on Spielberg. Next, Access Hollywood.
All right, welcome back to the LA Street Race. Craig Rodman is here. Craig, our winner today, congratulations.
Oh, yeah, baby. Brought it home.
You brought it home last year. You came home so close.
Oh, yeah, this time we definitely brought the money. This time, I'm loving it.
Back in the winner's circle. It's been since '97.
Yeah, I know, but it's just my kind of race, man. Hang it out and get after it and shift gears. It's awesome. I can't believe it. This car is just unreal. This crew, the motor, Brad Peters, freight train, no one had nothing for me down the straightaways. It's awesome.
Now, Tracy was telling us you had to bleed the brakes a number of times during the race.
Yeah, just driving a little bit too hard, and the brake fluid started boiling and stuff, and that was scary. I had to pump the brakes 6-7 times every corner. Gives you a heck of a workout trying to get around this turn when you got so many turns to stop for. But they held up. Luckily, we had yellows when they came out, so we could cool them down.
Was there a point where you were concerned?
I was concerned the whole time. Every lap I was concerned. I'm going, oh, God, how much harder can I drive this thing? I'm asking those guys, you know, how many more laps and, you know, things like that to try to keep the brakes underneath me. You know, I got to thank Yerf Dog and Freight Train Peters, ERC Fuels, Advantage Memory, my car, one of the best there is, Dave Reed, everybody, man. I got all these guys that are my best friends. We all get along and we go out on the weekends. We're not racing and have a good time, and that's what it takes to do this kind of stuff.
And today, you had a great time. Congratulations and thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.
All right, let's go back to Dan and Mike.
All right, thank you very much, Fred. Mike, another exciting finish to another NASCAR race.
Another typical NASCAR finish. The NASCAR Federal Southwest Series coming to the checkers now. Craig Rodman picking up the victory. Wow, what a big win for him, winning the highest paying ever race in NASCAR Federal Southwest Series history.
His 7th career win in the Federal Southwest Series. We're so glad you could join us. on NBC4's live exclusive coverage of the Ford LA Street Race. For Mike Bagley, Mike Storms, Patrick Healy, Jennifer Bjorklund, and Bob Petty, I'm Dan Hubbard saying good night from Los Angeles.